Chapter 4021 Blue Flame Greedy Wolf. The flame beast in the archaic times. Although not as famous as the ancient rosefinch, it was also famous in the archaic times. When the huge head of the blue flame greedy wolf rushed out of the earth's crust, the head of tens of thousands of miles, the tusks of thousands of miles, and the eyes like two suns were daunting. In particular, its roar seems to tear people's souls. Fortunately, they have experienced the trial of rosefinch and can barely resist the archaic pressure. Otherwise, this roar alone will be enough to break the spirit of the people. The great ancestor of greedy wolf, the invaders in front of you, with the fire of rosefinch inheritance, they are your sacrifice. Please enjoy it. The blue flame greedy wolf appeared, blue sky dam yelled. The greedy wolf beast is the belief beast of the blue flame empire. During this period, the blue flame empire offered countless sacrifices. It was about to wake it up, but it was awakened by the dragon dust. The sacrificial treasures can't meet the requirements of arousing the greedy wolf beast. The greedy wolf beast will be angry and devour endless creatures as compensation. Therefore, the blue flame empire dare not summon the blue flame greedy wolf easily. Now blue flame greedy wolf wake up, angry, blue sky dam shout, blue flame greedy wolf's attention to Long Chen and others, only in this way can calm its anger. Sure enough, the blue flame greedy wolf's eyes suddenly looked at the dragon dust and others. It instantly emerged in the eyes of endless flame, killing the sky. Roar! The blue flame greedy wolf roared again, the earth cracked, and a huge figure came out of the earth. It is huge, almost covering the entire imperial capital. The violent pressure makes the sky tremble. Between the heaven and the earth, you can see filaments, as if the heaven and the earth are going to be torn by its pressure. The blue flame greedy wolf broke the seal, and the divine power was agitated. Zhu Yunwen and others were shocked. They never thought that one day they would face a totem-level Archean beast. The royal disciples listened to the order, open the border, block everything here, no one is allowed to escape, and no message can be sent. Yunwen Qingxian Chenxue, all your princes and daughters, open up the rosefinch vision, build the rosefinch spirit, and deal with the blue sky dam together. Long Chen yelled. What about this blue flame greedy wolf? More than 1,000 urgent snow road busy. It's mine. All right, split up. Long Chen said, foot void, so rush to the blue flame greedy wolf. Seeing Long Chen start, other people also act one after another. 800,000 royal disciples gather together and make a seal with both hands. Everyone summons a vision. The figure of 800,000 Archean rosefinches emerged, forming a huge Archean rosefinch. The Archean rosefinch hovered over the 9 days, forming a border, covering the whole emperor. In the rosefinch trial, they have learned the skill of combining forces, which is just in use at this time. Kill all the princes and daughters such as Zhu Yunwen, Yu Chenxue, Zhu Yifeng and Yu Qingxian, burst out with all their strength, roared with visions, burst into the sky, and went straight to the blue sky dam to kill. If before, they were still full of awe for the 3-flower level, but Long Chen's slap and kick their awe away. In their hearts, the 3-flower level to respect the strong is also a person. Long Chen can smoke him, they have nothing to fear. Qingxian, the rosefinch calls 10,000 ways. Zhu Yunwen suddenly yells. Yu Qingxian rushes to the front, holds a sword formula in his hand, and the long sword roars down. Yu Qingchuan's sword cuts out the colorful rainbow. After the trial, Yu Qingxian finally starts to wake up. At this time, he bursts out with all his strength and cuts down the river of stars with one sword. Meanwhile, Zhu Yunwen, Yu Chenxue, Zhu Yifeng and others also put out their swords at the same time. The endless power of fire is all integrated into Yu Qingchuan's sword. Led by Yu Qingchuan's rainbow-colored flame, and combined with the strength of more than 20 people, he went straight to the blue sky dam. Lan Xianba didn't expect that everyone knew how to fight together. He was shocked to find that Yu Qingxian had locked him in as a powerful man. What he doesn't know is that he is not locked by Yu Qingxian, but by Tianhong Kaiyan in Yu Qingchuan's body. No matter what level he is, Tianhong Kaiyan can't break free once he is locked. He can only block it hard. Ignorant, go to hell. Blue sky dam roars, a long flame knife appears in the hand, the blue Shenhui emerges, and a knife tears the sky. Bang! The two attacks collided. One was the full force of the three-flower level Earth supremacy, the other was a combination of all the power of more than 20 contemporary Tianjiao. A startling explosion, the flame pierced the sky, straight up to 9 days. Poof! In addition to Yu Qingxian, Zhu Yunwen and others gushed blood, and the power of the three-flower level strong was so terrible that they were injured at the same time. Fortunately, in the Rosefinch trial, everyone got away to relieve pressure at the same time. The power of this blow was equally divided by everyone. Although injured, it was not fatal. What excites them is that the Blue Sky Dam is also full of blood. It is obvious that the three flowers respect the strong, and they can't bear the joint efforts of all the people. How arrogant they can be! Death, Blue Sky Dam vomited blood, surprised and angry, and his figure was like a flash of lightning. He saw the power of the people's joint attack, and he wanted to take advantage of the people's injury to give them a heavy blow without giving them a chance to breathe. Tianhong kill, as soon as his figure moves, Yu Qingxian has combined the sword with human beings, which is like an angry arrow. When he reacts, the sword has reached his throat, and the speed is incomparable. Boom! The Blue Sky Dam can only be blocked. With a loud bang, the Blue Sky Dam was staggered by the earthquake and retreated 2 steps by Yu Qingxian. Yu Qingxian flies hundreds of miles backward, and when she gets back on her feet, an unhealthy blush appears on her face. It's obvious that the attack of Sanwajing Strongman is not so easy to take. Even if Lantian Dam was injured, it was too late to build up its strength, and only half of its strength could be exerted. Yu Qingxian was still injured. Under the disorder of aura, she temporarily lost her fighting ability. Blue Sky Dam can see Yu Qingchuan's injury at a glance. This is the best time to kill her. He roars and is about to kill her. You'd better die. At this time, Zhu Yunwen cut down with one sword. At the moment of Zhu Yunwen's attack, Yu Qinxue and others all took action. What makes Lanxianba angry is that this blow is exactly Yu Qingchuan's sword, which also integrates the strength of all people. Bang! The Blue Sky Dam didn't have a chance to breathe at all. It was shocked by a sword, and blood gushed. Zhu Yunwen and others were injured at the same time, but they were more and more excited. They roared in their hearts. Lao Tzu has been able to compete with the three-flower level to respect the strong, who dares to look down on me in the world. Boom boom. At this moment, Yu Qingxian, who has recovered, shakes his sword and cuts 18 swords. This is to take advantage of your illness and kill you, and not give Lanxianba a chance to breathe at all. The continuous injuries of Lanxianba are like a drowning man. People press his head desperately, and don't give him a chance to breathe or heal. They are always in a weak state. When Yu Qingxian is finally forced to retreat, Zhu Yifeng kills him again. Instead of Zhu Yunwen, who is seriously injured, he fights with him again. Zhu Yifeng fought a blow and was seriously injured. Then Yu Qianxue changed his position and attacked again. Yu Qingxian is in charge of the interference. All the people join forces to attack and kill Lantian Dam. Lantian Dam is afraid. He is shocked to find that he has fallen into a trap. If he has no chance to recover his breath, he will really die. Greedy Wolf. Blue Sky Dam yells. He asks Blue Flame Greedy Wolf for help, because other strong ones have been killed by 800,000 royal disciples. Roar Blue Sky Dam's cry for help was only halfway, and he was shocked to find that Blue Flame Greedy Wolf was wrapped by endless flames. Flame prison close. The voice of Longchen is like the roar of the god. With his roar, the sacred and solemn chanting voice resounds through the heaven and earth. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 40:22 The sound of holy chanting resounds through the heaven and earth, as if the decree of the God of heaven came to suppress all Tao in the world. With the sound of chanting scriptures in Longchen's mouth, the white flame rises, and the terrible high temperature sweeps all the sky, burning through the sky. However, a piece of frost forms on the earth, just like a world of ice and snow. This time, Huolinger didn't have any reservation. He released all the power of Ice Spirit, condensed into the strongest flame prison, and covered the blue flame greedy wolf firmly in it. Boom boom. The blue flame greedy wolf roared and waved his claws. He struggled wildly, but he couldn't break free. Suddenly, his mouth opened, and a blue ball of flame collided with the prison. Boom, the huge ball of flame hit the prison, and the prison instantly deformed, even began to twist, but did not explode. On the railings of the prison, black flames emerge. The black flame is accompanied by endless evil breath. The black flame is like an evil mouth, devouring the blue flame crazily. When he saw the black flame, the furious blue flame greedy wolf was frightened. It was obvious that he recognized the origin of the flame. The flame is just the flame of Yensu. Although Huolinger absorbed it, because it was too powerful, it was often out of control and even wanted to escape. Therefore, Huolinger seldom used it. But now, with the help of the great Buddhist scripture of Longchen, they can control it with joint efforts, and then they can release and devour each other's power. Boom boom. At this time, the blue flame greedy wolf seems to be frightened by the rabbit, crazy struggle. It now does not want any sacrifice, just want to escape. But the more he struggled, the tighter the prison became. What frightened him was that the power of ice spirit was penetrating into his body and weakening his power of fire. And the flame of burning deficiency is more like the maggot of tarsal bone, crazy to absorb its energy, make it quickly become weak. Yenzu's flame is really terrible. Even this ancient beast has been restrained. Longchen looks at this blue flame greedy wolf, unexpectedly so easily trapped, can't help but be shocked in the heart. At this time, he made a seal with both hands and recited the sutra. In this state, he recited the sutra. Every syllable seems to be able to control the lifeblood of the world. This is the feeling that Longchen had never felt before. Longchen realized that after practicing the dragon god's body refining technique, his whole person had undergone earth-shaking changes. What he got was not only the dragon god's body refining technique. His other abilities are all improved because of the dragon god's body refining skill. The people who have been reborn are not only the Rosefinch royal family, but also the outsider who has benefited the most. Boom boom. Longchen recites the sutra. The power of fire between heaven and earth is under the control of Longchen. In the past, Longchen could only gather the power of heaven and earth and borrow it from heaven and earth. Now it's different. In the world covered by the voice of the great Brahman Sutra, he can control all the power of the fire, and even draw the power of the Rosefinch royal disciples to supply himself. Of course, Longchen can't do that, it will weaken others, but Longchen can't bless them with the power of fire, he can only bless himself and the spirit of fire connected with his soul. In addition, Dragon Dust can even use the power of God, soul and mind to accelerate the consumption of the flame power of blue flame greedy wolf, and extract its power to supply fire spirit. Boom boom. Blue flame greedy wolf gives out a roar of fear, but it has no meaning at this time. As time goes by, it will become weaker and weaker, and the fire spirit will become stronger and stronger. In fact, the blue flame greedy wolf has only one chance to break through, which is the moment when the flame prison falls down. If it can burst out with all its strength, it has a great chance to break the flame prison. However, it is a worshipped spirit and lives by the sacrifice and faith of the blue flame empire. It is not willing to consume too much of its original strength, otherwise it will be too difficult to supplement and the time will be too long. Therefore, it didn't do its best at the beginning, but ended up in death prison and lost the only chance to escape. Longchen can't help feeling, this time finally good luck. Originally Longchen thought, to pay a great price, can take this blue flame greedy wolf, unexpectedly so easy. Now, 800,000 royal disciples have blocked this place tightly. They are not afraid of being supported. Everything is under control. Don't let him run away. All of a sudden, Yu Qingxian yells. People have just had a hard fight with Lantian Dam. Lantian Dam spits blood and flies backwards. However, the action of Lantian Dam's flying backwards is strange, and Yu Qingxian suddenly realizes that it's not good. Sure enough, Lantianba is very crafty. When he sees the blue flame greedy wolf trapped, he knows that it's going to be over. With the help of the joint efforts of all the people, he flies straight to the distance to break through the blockade of all the people. Blue Sky Dam is very fast. When people react, he has reached the edge of the border. He grits his teeth and roars, "Ignorant, you wait for me. Yusuk Empire will pay the price of bleeding in the end. We will strike at the blue sky with all our strength." At the moment when he cut to the border with a long knife, all the royal disciples, including Yu Qingxian and Zhu Yunwen, quickly made a seal with their hands. Blue Sky Dam in front of the border suddenly found a huge rosefinch pattern. Blue Sky Dam knife is cutting in that pattern. With a bang, half of the body of Lantian Dam collapsed and let the long knife fly back out. The whole person's blood gushed out and was almost shattered. The sad Blue Sky Dam never dreamed that the most powerful move of 800,000 royal disciples was defense. Otherwise, they would not be able to withstand the terrible pressure of Rosefinch trial. 800,000 people joined forces to defend, and the terrible anti-earthquake force almost killed Lantian Dam. Not to mention that he is in a weak state now. Even in his heyday, he can't break through the absolute defense of 800,000 people. However, although he can't break through in his heyday, he won't be half dead. Poof, Zhu Yifeng took advantage of the Blue Sky Dam to cut off his head and crush his soul. He was killed by all the people. Looking at the head of the Blue Sky Dam, people still feel in a dream. They can't believe what happened in front of them. At this time, the endless flame rune flows on the dragon dust side, and the huge blue flame greedy wolf is imprisoned and put into a black space door. Bang! The door of the space is closed, the huge blue flame greedy wolf disappears, and Long Chen looks up at the sky and laughs. His face is full of excitement. Done! www. Ninefold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4023 In the chaotic space, the invincible blue flame greedy wolf has disappeared. At this time, it no longer has fierce spirit, and its eyes are full of fear. No matter how powerful the Archean beast is, when it comes here, it has to hold its tail. Looking at the shivering blue flame greedy wolf, a smile appears on Long Chen's face. Chaos space is an invincible existence. As long as the opponent can be accepted, no matter how strong the opponent is, he will have to surrender. Unfortunately, chaos space is not omnipotent. It's not so easy to take each other in. Huolinger seized the time to devour it. For the shivering blue flame greedy wolf, Long Chen didn't pity it. This guy didn't know how many souls he swallowed in order to keep his soul alive. Many spirits cooperate with believers. Believers offer sacrifices to them, and they also give benefits to believers. The blue flame greedy wolf was a fierce beast in ancient times. He was cruel in nature. He certainly didn't do anything good in these years when he became a god beast in the Blue Flame Empire. Huolinger immediately incarnates into 8 white fire dragons, which are divided into 8 different directions. They bite the blue flame greedy wolf and absorb its energy crazily. The blue flame greedy wolf keeps wailing, but here, its ability seems to be limited, let alone it has been in a weak state. Even in its heyday, it has no resistance in the chaotic space. Seeing that Huolinger began to absorb it, the divine sense of Long Chen retreated from the chaotic space. At this time, Zhu Yifeng took the head of Lanxianba and said excitedly, "Boss, we killed a 3-flower level god." "Yes, but don't be complacent. This guy is the weakest of the 3-flower class." It said that he had no chance to be promoted to Sanhua at all. He offered a lot of sacrifices to the blue flame greedy wolf. The blue flame greedy wolf used his own power to help him gather Sanhua. Therefore, his strength is incomparable with other 3-flower level strong men, but if you can join forces to kill them, it is enough to prove that you are all warriors of the Rosefinch Empire. Long Chen first poured a basin of cold water on the people, so that they would not be too conceited, but they should be praised. "Brother, what shall we do next? Go straight back to the Empire and attack them from behind?" Zhu Yifeng. No, it's too early to go back now. Before the news spreads, we'll rob again." With that, Long Chen leads people to search for the treasure house of the Blue Flame Empire and soon finds a secret space. At that moment, everyone almost screams with excitement. The battleships and chariots in the treasure house are arranged in order. The armor and magic soldiers can't see the end at a glance, and the sky-fire crystal is piled up like a mountain. Although people were already very excited when they stole the treasure house of the Purple Thunder Empire, after all, the treasures of the Purple Thunder Empire were thunder, and they couldn't use them at all. But it's not the same here. The treasures of the Blue Flame Empire are all of fire property, which is no different from those made for them. It's too late to share the spoils. Let's drive 100 Thunder warships and 100 Flame warships and pretend to be the team of the Purple Thunder Empire and the Blue Flame Empire. Let's go to the Yumming Empire as soon as possible, because the relationship between the Yumming Empire and the Blue Flame Empire is not very good. Let's make a bet. Our attack speed is faster than the speed of news dissemination. Longchen Road. People admire Longchen's strength and wisdom. They do what Longchen says. After searching the treasure house, they immediately set foot on the warship and rushed to the neighboring Yumming Empire as soon as possible. On the contrary, it is quite easy to have friction with neighboring countries, especially with distant countries. Boom! The fleet rushed through the border and directly into the territory of Yumming Empire. Without waiting for those garrison to give an alarm, Longchen had been drinking like thunder, and the voice spread all over the world. Ziding and Lan Yen come to visit. Go to inform your lord that there is a change in action, immediately gather all the troops, and be ready to fight at any time. Hearing the sound of Longchen's drinking, and seeing the Thunder warship and the Blue Flame warship of the Purple Thunder Empire, the city defense didn't dare to neglect them and sent a message directly to the imperial capital. Then Longchen and others swaggered across the border and flew to the capital of Yumming Empire. Even when passing through the major cities, there are other flying boats guarding the two wings, as if welcoming the VIP. Obviously, the Yumming Empire welcomes the Purple Thunder Empire, not the Blue Flame Empire. But when the Blue Flame Empire and the Purple Thunder Empire come at the same time, the Yumming Empire must show enough sincerity. Otherwise, let the villains of the Blue Flame Empire succeed and please the Purple Ting Empire. In the future, the Purple Ting Empire will favor the Blue Flame Empire, and the Yumming Empire will suffer. Originally, everyone was frightened for fear of being exposed, and the plan fell through, but unexpectedly, everything was in Longchen's calculation. When they saw the frigates on the two wings, they pondered for a long time before they realized the key. At this time, they admired Longchen even more. Longchen is like an omnipotent god of war. He knows everything about the enemy like the palm of his hand. His hands are covered with clouds and his hands are covered with rain. This kind of war control is beyond everyone's imagination. In fact, they overestimate Longchen, not to mention whether Longchen has such a brain. Even if it has, Longchen is not willing to use it. Since the defeat of Tianwu in the War of Annihilating the World, Longchen has determined his own path of cultivation, and no longer uses his brains to use any wisdom. For the War of Annihilation in Tianwu mainland, Longchen has been laying out for so long. He has calculated countless possibilities with Ling Yunzi and made countless preparations. What will happen in the end? If it wasn't for the dragon, everyone would be dead. Therefore, Longchen is now doing whatever he wants. Anyway, as long as he has enough strength, he is right. He doesn't want to waste his precious energy on boring calculations. The warships roar away, and the speed is extremely fast. Longchen is racing against time, and Longchen is gambling. During this period of time, Yumming Empire has not received the news of the destruction of the Blue Flame Emperor. Soon, the capital was in sight. When he saw the array outside the capital, a smile appeared on Longchen's face, and Zhu Yunwen and Zhu Yifeng were excited. The grand array has not been fully opened, nor has it entered a state of combat. Even Longchen and others have seen the endless army gathering in the imperial capital, and the strong men of the Yumming Empire are lining up to welcome their arrival. Be prepared and follow the original plan. Longchen Road. People are busy one after another, injecting endless crystal into the warship, and at the same time enhancing the power of the warship to the maximum. Brother Qinyu, I'm really sorry to let you meet me in person. I'll give you a big gift today. Please accept it. Longchen suddenly imitates Wang Taibai's voice and shouts to the emperor. The old man, who is called Qinyu, is the leader of the Yuming Empire. It's the first time that he heard Wang Taibei call him brother. He can't help but have a look of excitement on his face. Lord, here I am going to. Yuming, the leader of the empire, just wanted to be polite, but was shocked to find that the warships suddenly lost control and ran into them. P.S. Brothers, the year-end evaluation begins. If you like Long Chen and Leng Yuan, vote for them. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4024. Before the strong of Yuming Empire could react, 20 warships collided with the capital like shells. In the exclamation of countless people, they were in a hurry to escape, but all of this came so suddenly that people were not on guard. Boom boom. 10 Thunder warships and 10 Blue Flame warships are full of Sky Thunder Crystal and Sky Fire Crystal. When the warships fall into the crowd, they burst into pieces. Endless thunder and fire interweave, huge shock wave rampant, countless strong were blown to pieces. In the bustling imperial capital, countless buildings have been razed to the ground. Yuming's empire leader is surprised and angry. He thinks that the warships are out of control. But when he sees Longchen and others in the void, he suddenly understands. It's time for the warriors of the Rosefinch Empire to defend the life and dignity of the Rosefinch people. The enemy in front of us is no longer human beings, but bloodthirsty jackals. Pick up your weapons, pierce the enemy's armor, cut off their heads, in order to protect their parents and relatives in the empire. On the battlefield, there is no need for compassion. What we need is the courage to die with the enemy and the courage to face death and fear without flinching. Kill. Long Chen stops drinking, treads on the void, and goes straight to the leader of the Yuming Empire. Long Chen's qi and blood roar like thunder, and his endless breath flows, and his prestige covers the sky. You are Long Chen? I want to die at this time. The leader of the Yuming Empire finally reacted. They pretended to be the people of the Purple Thunder Empire and the Blue Flame Empire, which made the Yuming Empire suffer a great loss. Just now, the warship blew itself up, killing countless strong people. You know, these people are the elite of the empire, and his heart is dripping with blood. Seeing the dragon dust coming, the killing opportunity surges in both eyes. The 3 flowers behind them tremble, and one claw catches the dragon dust, which is the most fierce kill. The sharp claw fell in the air, and a shadow of 10,000 Li claw appeared on the sky. Even the way of heaven responded to this blow. This is the peerless power of the 3-flower level earth supremacy. He took the hand, and the world was controlled by him. Boom, the fists and claws meet, and the sky is shaking. A ripple is surging. At the same time, Long Chen and Yu Ming, the emperor of the empire, snort and step back and even share the autumn. What? Long Chen, an immortal king, can fight with the 3-flower level earth worshippers who are higher than him, which makes the strong people of Yuming Empire can't believe their eyes. Bang, and then there was another big bang. Yu Qingxian had killed an old man with white beard, who was also a 3-flower level respected man. Once again, everyone worked together to deal with the 3-flower level respected man. The strength of the 3-flower level leader is even far inferior to that of Lanxianba, because his realm is completely accumulated by pills and external forces. If Lanxianba can be regarded as a half-step 3-flower, but he is a fake 3-flower. As a result, he was slashed by Yu Qingxian with a sword and his blood gushed out. He was simply vulnerable. Yu Qingxian, Zhu Yunwen and others were stunned. They had a bloody battle with Lanxianba before, and everyone was injured. They only recovered part of their strength on the road. Originally thought this time to a shopping, but did not expect that the old man should be so weak. Isn't it a fake? Cried Yu Qinxue. Whatever, kill him. Zhu Yifeng yelled. All the people join hands to kill the old man. However, in the Yuming Empire, countless strong people come to support them. As a result, they are defeated by the royal disciples. The war broke out in an instant. Although the warship exploded and killed some of the strong, there were still hundreds of millions of the remaining strong. On the surface, the strong Suzaku was at an absolute disadvantage, But the royal disciples of the Suzaku Empire had already been reborn. One by one, they killed people fiercely, and the strong Yuming Empire fell down one by one. Boom boom. The dragon dust blows his fists and fights with the leader of the Yuming Empire. The blood flow in the dragon dust's body is faster and stronger. Under the operation of the dragon god's body refining technique, the blood essence, aura and the spherical runes in the spiritual bones of Longchen are burning, just like the melting of glaciers, and the endless power of rivers flows to the four limbs of Longchen. Every time Longchen punches out, the void collapses in a large area, as if heaven and earth can't bear his strength and wants to collapse. There are 3 flowers flowing behind the Emperor Yuming, thousands of roaring, endless runes flowing on him. Obviously he is also in full swing. Qi and blood are deficient, and the soul is deficient. Have you been hollowed out by wine and sex? Longchen punches one by one, forcing the Emperor of Yuming to retreat. Longchen sneers. In a fierce battle with the leader of Yuming Empire, Longchen gradually finds out that it's not right. The leader of Yuming Empire seems to be in a weak state and doesn't intend to keep it. Yuming Empire is obviously stronger than Lantian Dam, but its actual combat power is much weaker than Lantian Dam, which is very strange. Longchen knows that this war should be the last sneak attack. Soon, the news of the collapse of the Blue Flame Empire will come out. Don't try to do it again. Therefore, this time, Longchen wants to find a strong one to verify his dragon god body refining skill. This is also the first time that Longchen is ready to fight with all his strength. Ignorant, if I didn't sacrifice a lot of blood essence and spirit, how could you catch my 3 moves? Yuming, the emperor of the empire, was angry. Boom! With his roar, the earth trembles, and a huge altar breaks through the ground. There is a totem pole on the altar, on which an archaic magic bird is depicted. It was an eagle with golden claws, silver wings and fierce eyes. I see. In order to wake it up, you sacrifice some of your own qi, blood and spirits. No wonder you are so weak. The dragon's face suddenly looks like dust. This silver-winged blood eagle is an ancient fierce beast. It is born bloodthirsty and extremely fierce. If you want to sacrifice its spirit, you must give it enough blood to make fodder. In order to wake it up, Yuming Emperor consumed countless blood souls as sacrifices, but it was not enough. In the end, he could only sacrifice part of his blood souls as sacrifices to wake it up. When the totem pole appeared, the fierce qi radiated for 9 days, and all souls trembled. Boom! The totem pole glows, and a huge figure appears. It has silver wings and golden claws, and its qi and blood soar to the sky. It is the silver wings and blood eagle. As soon as the silver-winged blood eagle appeared, it saw the dragon dust at a glance, and seemed to feel the endless power of qi and blood in the dragon dust. Its eyes were full of fierce light. Without waiting for the emperor's greeting, its mouth opened, and its violent suction rolled up a huge vortex. Before Longchen made any response, he was swallowed by the silver-winged snow eagle. When Longchen disappeared, Yu Qingxian and others let out a cry of surprise. All of a sudden, powerful as dragon dust, even no chance to resist, all of a sudden was swallowed. Great Spirit, please enjoy the best in front of you, cried the Lord of Yuming Empire. The little silver-winged blood eagle dares to swallow the blood essence of the real dragon. Aren't you afraid to die? At this time, in the belly of the silver-winged blood eagle, there was a gloomy sound of dragon dust, and then people heard a roar like the god of heaven. Dragon King Battle Body Open. www. Novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4025. With the roar of dragon dust, the huge silver-winged blood eagle suddenly bloomed golden light, even covered the color of its wings. Then, in the eyes of people's horror, the body of the white-winged snow eagle began to expand and become bigger and bigger. The white-winged blood eagle seemed to feel something wrong. Its big mouth opened and it seemed to want to spit out the dragon dust. Boom! But it's too late. Its body burst to pieces, endless golden radiance burst out, the strong wind surged, and the golden light ignited the whole world. It's not good. Quickly build up a defensive formation. Zhu Yunwen was so surprised that he drank quickly. With a shout from him, everyone made a seal at the same time. The royal disciples who were originally distributed all over the battlefield were sent together in an instant, and the rosefinch bound them up. Boom! The terrible power of essence and blood is like the smashing of stars, which stimulates the vigorous wind and turns people around into powder in a flash. The vigorous wind is rampant, covering the entire imperial capital. The entire emperor is wiped out in an instant. Hundreds of millions of strong people disappear, and the ancient fierce beasts explode. The power released is unimaginable. The vigorous wind was raging, and the endless golden light faded slowly. The figure of dragon dust came into people's eyes. It's so stupid that it can touch the blood essence of the Dragon King? This sentence is not said by Longchen, but by the dragon strongman. Obviously, this silver-winged blood eagle wants to devour the essence and blood of the real dragon. It's just wishful thinking. Boy, what's up? The real power of the dragon has finally come to see the body. There is a touch of pride in the voice of the strong dragon. The golden light of Longchen's whole body was dimmed slowly. It took several breaths to adjust the breath to the normal state. Looking around, the whole emperor has disappeared, and the buildings and the strong have disappeared. I have to say that the destructive power is terrible. Even Longchen himself was scared. He never thought that one day he could control such power. In the rosefinch space, he has no reference and he doesn't know how strong his power is. Now he finally realizes how strong his power is. The power is terrible, but the consumption is also amazing. The full burst of breath consumed 30% of my strength. Longchen feels his body and says with a bitter smile. After an outbreak, he quickly converges his breath, and 30% of his strength disappears. According to this calculation, he is in the strongest state, and I'm afraid he can only hold on for a few breaths. There's no way. Your control is too poor. Your power counteracts itself and wastes most of it. Moreover, you are a human body, which is not as big as our dragon. The energy you can store is extremely limited. To this point, it has far exceeded my expectation. With the improvement of your accomplishments, your body capacity will continue to increase, your control will gradually increase, and your strength and time will be prolonged. The dragon's strong comforted. It's not as long as the real dragon can be, but it's not as long as the real dragon can be. Puff! Suddenly, blood light splashed, 2 long swords across the void, 2 heads soared into the sky, and it was Yu Qianxue and Zhu Yunwen who shot. All the strong people on the scene were destroyed, but the 2 3-flower-level people who respected the strong survived. However, they were also blown up to death, and even had no strength to escape. They were directly killed. Very good. There are 3 heads of the 3-flower-level people who respect the strong. 2 of them are the lords of the country. This is enough to greatly boost our morale. Zhu Yunwen was carrying the head of Yuming Empire, and his face was full of excitement. However, he soon found that Longchen looked at the head in his hand, a pair of words and stop, cannot help but feel a thump. Brother Long, but what did I do wrong? You shouldn't kill his soul. I wanted to see if I could find something. Longchen said with a bitter smile. Longchen always thinks that there is a conspiracy in Wengtai. The powerful people at the national level may know something about this conspiracy. At that time, when they killed Lanxianba, they didn't survive because they were in a hurry. But now Yu Qianxue and Zhu Yunwen are too quick. When Longchen reacts, they have already killed people. This I'm sorry, Brother Long. I'm too reckless. Zhu Yunwen was embarrassed. Forget it, just kill them. They are all instructed by the Purple Thunder Empire. They may not know the real core secrets. Let's clean up the battlefield quickly and return to the Zhuge Empire directly. Longchen rode. Brother, we are so fast that we can't hide our ears. Maybe we can attack another country. Zhu Yunwen is addicted and looks forward to the tunnel. Other people are also excited. In such a short period of time, they have killed the 2 capitals and the 2 heads of state in succession. They have accomplished great things that never happened in history. If they can continue to attack a country, they will not only be famous forever, but also ease the pressure of the Rosefinch Empire. If we continue to sneak attack, the 8 empires will be in chaos. Everyone is worried that their emperors will be attacked, so we must go back to defend. Even if we can't sneak attack, we can also cause great pressure on the enemy and relieve the pressure of the Rosefinch Empire. Yu Qinxue also suggested. For them, if the other side is ready, it's nothing. If they can't fight, they will run. They will fight against the top 3 players in a row, which brings them great confidence. But Long Chen shook his head and said, "It's impossible for us to have another chance. Our success in this raid has occupied a lot of luck. The news of the Blue Flame Empire should have spread. After the 8 empires receive the news, they will never withdraw their troops to defend. They don't know where we're going to attack. Instead of hiding with us, they'd better attack Rosefinch with all their strength. In that case, it's US who will defend. If they can figure out our way back and ambush us halfway, they don't need more. They only need 5 3-flower-level dignitaries, which will be enough to destroy us. Now there is no point in taking risks, and the gains are not proportional to the risks. Moreover, in order to avoid the huge casualties caused by Rosefinch, we have to rush back before the 8 empires storm." Hearing what Long Chen said, everyone was awe-inspiring and full of shame. They thought the problem was too simple and naive. And the most important point is that in the dialogue between Wang Taibei and Master Wang Tianao, he mentioned one thing which he did not say. Visible enemies are not terrible, but those invisible things. Since we can't find any clues, we must be prepared in advance. Long Chen rode. They nodded, quickly cleaned up the battlefield, immediately drove the warship, and made a detour to the Rosefinch Empire. In order to prevent being intercepted, Long Chen went around a circle. When Long Chen and others returned to the border of Zhuge Empire, they saw the broken city and endless corpses, and Zhu Yunwen and others' eyes turned red. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4026. Just as Long Chen expected, the 8 empires launched a fierce attack at the same time. The tall wall of the border has collapsed. On the battlefield, there are scattered corpses, and the air is filled with blood. It's closest to the city gate guarded by my father. Let's go to support my father. Zhu Yunwen's face changed greatly and cried out, "You go. I'll go with Qingxian to support the queen. We'll fight in 2 ways. Long Chen rode. In fact, Long Chen doesn't plan to support Yu Xiaoyun, because Long Chen knows that Yu Xiaoyun's toughness is far beyond the imagination of outstanding people. Before the dragon dust came to the Zhuge Empire, Xia Guhong once said that Yu Xiaoyun was a monster in terms of wisdom and strength. But Long Chen knew that in the concept of the royal family members, loyalty to the monarch and patriotism is the iron law, and the emperor is the supreme authority. Therefore, the emperor is the most revered god in their hearts. They must accompany the emperor when he drives the expedition. Even if his mother is in danger, they must attach great importance to the emperor, unless the emperor orders them to rescue his mother. According to Long Chen's plan, he took people to help others, but Long Chen also respected their choice. After all, the fight for the throne is not always bright. These princes and daughters, if they want to fight for the throne, they must be recognized by the emperor. Now is the time for them to show their full strength. If they try their best, the emperor can't see it. It's just like a knight's journey in royal guards. Long Chen pulls Yu Qingxian up because they don't want to take part in the fight for the throne, which can be regarded as showing their position to the public. Brother Long. Seeing that Long Chen is going to leave with Yu Qingxian, they suddenly have no backbone, and Zhu Yunwen is flustered. Big brother. Zhu Yifeng hesitated. You are all princes and princesses. At the critical moment, you should have your own responsibilities. The so-called strong wind knows the strong grass, and the fire sees the real gold. It's time to show your fangs to the enemy and defend the dignity of the Rosefinch Empire to the death. Remember, each of you is a leading role and a hero who stands in your own way. Go ahead and show your style to your heart's content. Let history engrave your brand. Long Chen smiles and encourages. Long Chen's words of encouragement immediately made everyone's blood boil, especially that sentence, "Everyone is the protagonist," which completely inspired their inner pride. Take care, everyone. When we have killed all the enemies and defeated all the powerful enemies, and the dawn of victory has spread all over every corner of the Rosefinch Empire, we will continue to drink and have fun together. With that, Long Chen pulls Yu Qingxian away. When Long Chen left, his heroic words reverberated between heaven and earth for a long time. They went deeper into people's souls and ignited their great war spirit. Kill the enemy and defeat the enemy. Victory belongs to us after all. We are the descendants of the great Jolie and the inheritors of the will of the ancient Rosefinch. We can't disgrace our ancestors. With a roar, Zhu Yunwen took all the princes and daughters to drive away. Kill 800,000 royal disciples roared and killed. It seemed that they could only vent their anger by killing the enemy. A pair of golden wings behind Longchen suddenly spread out, and the huge shadow blocked the sky. In a moment, Longchen's speed improved to the extreme. Yu Qingxian is hugged by Longchen and clings to his chest. He looks at the space in front of him, and it's like entering a time tunnel. He can't see the surrounding scenery at all. Longchen, your wings. Yu Qingxian's eyes suddenly widened. Yes, I refined Kunta's wings, extracted runes, and became my magic power. The speed of Kunping is impeccable. Longchen said with a smile. The fastest speed that Longchen has ever seen is Xiaoyan's flight. It is said that the family of chasing Yuntantiank is slightly faster than the family of Kunping, but the attack and defense of the wings are much worse than the family of Kunping. Before, Longchen had acquired Lei Falcon's secret method, and the speed was amazing, but compared with Kunpeng's, it's just a little bit too much. The wings behind the dragon dust tremble and the void is twisted. The speed is extremely fast. Through the divine consciousness, we can vaguely capture the scene on the earth. Today, the major cities of the Rosefinch Empire are in chaos, and there are scuffles everywhere. You can even see countless people of the Rosefinch Empire fighting against each other. Longchen, why on earth? Is the heart really so dark? See those who betray the Suzaka Empire, to the enemy as a running dog, harm compatriots, even more ferocious than the enemy. Yu Qingxian can't understand why these people have become like this. A lot of people look like sheep. In the face of the strong, they are submissive, humble, and pitiful. But when they face the weak, they will incarnate fierce demons. They will release their oppression to those who are weaker than them. When the weak embarrass the weak and the poor embarrass the poor, you can't imagine the cruelty. Therefore, it seems that poor people may not be poor, or poor people must be hateful. Now you see their hatefulness. When the empire wins, they are arrested, they cry bitterly and beg for forgiveness, you will find them pitiful. So, sometimes, people do wrong, is wrong, you can forgive others for your injury. But there are some things that you can't forgive for others, and you can't forgive for others. You can only swallow the bitter fruit of yourself. Longchen Road. This kind of person Longchen saw too much, many to Longchen already numb, but Longchen knew that soon, the trial will come. Longchen, I sometimes find that there are too many helplessness in my life. Every time I see those bad things I feel heartache. And that kind of heartache, as if it had been similar, as if it had been experienced, some scenes, as if seen somewhere. Sometimes I will shed tears inexplicably, and even sometimes I don't know who I am. I'm so confused. Yu Qingxian has a look of sadness on her pretty face and a look of confusion in her eyes. Longchen looks at Yu Qingxian. He knows that some memories of Yu Qingxian's reincarnation are indelible, but she can't remember them, and the overlapping memories must be chaotic. Longchen hugged Yu Qingxian tightly, looked at Yu Qingxian and said, "You don't have to be confused or panic, because from now on, I will protect you and I won't allow anyone to hurt you." Yu Qingxian's confused face gradually shows a beautiful smile. She leans her head against Longchen's chest and listens to his powerful heartbeat. Longchen's embrace is her safest harbor. Boom boom. Suddenly in front of the void, the sky and the earth change color, the sun and the moon have no light, the power of fury breaks the law of 10,000 ways, endless fragments of time are flying, and a figure flies backward from the void. Nyang, When seeing that figure, Yu Qingxian exclaimed that it was Jiang Huixin. At this time, Jiang Huixin's mouth was bleeding and she was injured. In the suddenly broken void, there are 3 figures, which are the 3 flower-level earth worshippers. Who, as Long Chen puts down Yu Qingxian, his wings tremble behind him. Like a flash of lightning, a man flies down in the air. The golden dragon scale blooms out of the sky and goes straight to one of them to smash it. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4027 Bang, with one blow, Long Chen swoops down, swallowing all the sky and shaking Xinghe. 3 old men have just pushed back Jiang Huixin and are preparing to take advantage of the victory. Long Chen has already killed him like a god of war. Long Chen's speed is too fast. With the inertia of flying, he smashed his fist down, and the void was sunken in a large area. The fierce fist style enveloped the 3 people. Even if the 3 flower-level earth worshippers didn't see anything clearly, they were hit by Long Chen's boxing style, and the ruins of the main road collapsed. The roaring waves took off sand and rocks, and set off a storm. Suddenly, the 3 flower-level earth worshippers were shocked to fly out. Who? 3 people were shocked blood surge, but cannot feel the 3 flower level to respect the power of the strong. 3 people at the same time, a person angry. The man who drank a lot was no one else. He was the strong man of the Purple Thunder Empire, the master of Wengtung. Your father, a sneer came from the void. Suddenly, a pair of golden wings emerged, opened up the space, and hit Wang Tianyao's master with one punch. Wang Tianyao's master's eyes were full of disbelief when he saw Long Chen. What he could not dream of was that the person who shocked them was the boy in fairyland. Seeing that Long Chen's fist came, he was surprised and angry. He stabbed Long Chen's chest with his long sword. He didn't believe Long Chen dared to ignore his sword. Dang, as a result, Long Chen's fist didn't change. Suddenly, an invisible force bounced on his long sword and tilted it. Bang! Long Chen smashed Master Wang Tianyao's face with one blow, inlaid in his face, and his head appeared numerous cracks, which almost exploded with one blow of Long Chen. Wang Tianyao's master concentrated all his strength on the long sword, but he didn't expect that the long sword was deflected by the mysterious power, and Long Chen almost blew his head with one blow. Wang Tianyao's master rolled out of the room with a fist. He disappeared in an instant. He didn't know where he had gone. It's a pity, it's just a little bit off. The dragon dust secretly regrets, this blow almost succeeded. If Long Chen summons the Dragon King to fight, this fist will surely turn him into powder. However, when Long Chen summons the Dragon King to fight, under the guidance of the terrible Qi, Wang Tianyao's master will have a sense of death and will never fight with him. Behind the dragon dust, Kunpeng's wings trembled, and the man disappeared in an instant, and went straight to Wang Tianyao's master to kill him. 3 flowers gather, 5 tides grow. Wang Tianyao's master almost burst his head with a blow from Long Chen. He broke into a cold sweat. With a roar, Sanhua's broken head quickly healed. At the same time, the 3 flowers behind him are wrapped by endless flames. At this time, he no longer dare to have any carelessness, and even starts to burn the power of the 3 flowers and burst out with all his strength. Seeing the dragon dust coming, he knew that if he met him passively, he would be attacked by the storm like dragon dust. Long Chen belongs to the type of hard, fierce attacker. Once he has the upper hand, he will suppress the opponent until he is defeated. He will never give the opponent any breathing opportunities. Master Wang Tianyao is a strong man who has fought countless battles and accumulated countless combat experience. He knows that if he evades, he will only die faster. He must fight back even if his body is still injured. Purple lightning pierces the clouds. Wang Tianyao's master roars, combines the sword with the man, and the 3 flowers tremble. He takes the initiative to kill Long Chen. One shot is the most powerful trick. He struggles to win a breathing opportunity for himself. As long as he can push back Long Chen, he can take a breath, so that he will have a chance to heal, and at the same time, he can buy some time for the rescue of his companions. But what he never thought was that his desperate strike was defeated, and what dragon dust came to him was a remnant. Not good. At that moment, Wang Tianyao's master's hair stood upright, and the terrible threat of death enveloped him. 3 flowers protect the body. Wang Tianyao's master is shocked to find that he has lost his perception of Longchen. The speed of Longchen is too fast to catch up with him. The 3 flowers on his head scatter, forming a huge light shield on him. He can't feel the dragon dust and doesn't know which direction the dragon dust will attack from. He can only defend in all directions. In this way, his defense will be greatly reduced. No way, he did not dare to bet. He was afraid that when he sensed the location of Longchen, it was too late to defend. Just as he opened his body protector, Longchen's claws pierced his shield and went straight to Master Wang Tianyao's head. Wang Tianyao's master's blood gushes. However, at the moment when the shield bursts, he finally feels the dragon dust and cuts it fiercely with a long sword in his hand. Boom! With a bang, the sword was shocked, one of Master Wang Tianyao's arms was broken, and the sword flew away like a rainbow. Death, just as Longchen was about to kill, 2 old men from afar came to kill him. They were the 2 old men who joined hands with Master Wang Tao. Their speed can't compare with Longchen, but they still feel it at the critical moment. But in the face of them, Longchen doesn't look at it. Poof! He kicked Wang Tianyao's master with 1 foot. Wang Tianyao's master instinctively raised his other arm to block him. As a result, he was kicked to pieces by Longchen. You know, in the Rosefinch trial, the flesh and blood power of Longchen is improving crazily. Even the 3 flower level people are far from it. Boom! Longchen kicks Wang Tianyao's master's arm to pieces, and the 2 3-flower level masters over there kill him. When they see that Longchen doesn't care about himself, they kill Wang Tianyao's master fiercely. They can't help but be surprised and angry. They are just about to kill Longchen. Bang! Suddenly, the void collapses and 2 flame swords fall in the air. It is Yu Qingxian and Jiang Huixin who arrive. They attack at the same time and go straight to the back of their hearts. If 2 people go to kill Longchen, the unguarded Longchen may die, but in the same way, they can't live. 2 people are surprised and angry, their heart is cold, they instantly understand, all these are in the dragon dust calculation, rhythm control is wonderful to the top. Unless they want to use their own life in exchange for Longchen's life, but they really can't do it, they finally choose to resist. Boom! With 2 loud noises, Jiang Huixin's sword fell down, and the old man's blood gushed, even the weapons in his hands split out cracks. Obviously, none of them was Jiang Huixin's opponent. Jiang Huixin is very powerful. If she is 1-on-1, or even 1-on-2, she is sure to win, but in the face of 3 people she suffered a big loss. Yu Qingxian fought fiercely with the 3-flower level strong man over there. He was shocked and his qi and blood surged, and his opponent was not comfortable. The colorful flame burned on him, rapidly consuming his original strength. Jiang Huixin killed them with a sword. The 3-flower level people didn't dare to fight with them in such a state. They were scared back. They didn't want to save people, they didn't have the strength. Poof! Longchen's claws, like hooks, pierce into Master Wang Tianyao's head. Master Wang Tianyao screams bitterly, and his soul is being searched by violence. Boom! Suddenly, Wang Tianyao's master burst into pieces and turned into a blood mist all over the sky. Longchen's face changed greatly. Qingxian, take care of yourself. They are triggering the river Styx to sacrifice. They'll stop them first. With these words, the wings behind the dragon dust trembled, turned into a streamer, flew away, and disappeared in an instant. The river Styx sacrifice? When hearing this name, Jiang Huixin's face changed. P.S. Today, the hospital reviewed the stitches and took a day to make it up. It was late. The 2 days were suck. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 40:28 The wings behind the dragon dust trembled, and the speed reached an extreme. His heart was full of anxiety. It's too insidious. They don't want to carve up the Rosefinch Empire, but want to destroy it completely. After the sacrifice of Styx, the door of space will be opened, and the water of Styx will flow into the Rosefinch Empire. The water of the Styx River is the most ean and poisonous thing, which buries the resentment of endless messengers. Where the river passes, all things are extinct and become dead. What's in it for them? At such a high cost, is it to erase the Rosefinch Empire? Long Chen flies all the way, but he can't figure out why the Purple Thunder Empire wants to do this. It is obviously a piece of fat meat. I would rather let the meat rot than eat it. This is not in line with the logic of war at all. From Master Wang Tianyao's memory, Long Chen saw their layout. In the city on the border of Zhuge Empire, they secretly built an altar. And that city is the base of traders, where endless traders and people who choose to take refuge gather. Because before the war, the 8 empires gave a signal that the 8 empires only aimed at the royal family and would not kill civilians. This is the area of peace sacrifice. Those traders didn't know that waiting for them was a death trap. In order to show their outstanding performance, they kept gathering people in the hope of being favored by the 8 empires in the future. When Longchen was killed by Wang Tianyao's master, the sacrifice had already begun. The whole city was surrounded by black flames. The black flame is the fire of evil, hellfire. Those who are ignited by it will suffer endless pain and die. What's going on? Where did the fire come from? No, I don't want to die. It's a trap. They want to kill us. My God, is this the punishment of Rosefinch for betraying our empire? For a moment, countless strong people in the city cried for their parents and ran away. But when they left the city, they were shocked to find that there was a black border in front of them. Boom, boom. No matter how they impact the border, they are all bounced back by the power of terror. In a moment, everyone is infected with a flame, which cannot be extinguished by any means. No. People are in despair. Hundreds of millions of practitioners cry and roar in the fire, but they can't die for a while and a half. The hell fire burns their bodies, and also burns their souls and spirits. In endless pain, a little bit of their lives, they regret, they hate, they are unwilling, endless resentment is absorbed by the border. Gradually in the void above, formed a gate pattern. The gate seems to emerge above a flower, but too vague to see clearly. As time goes on, endless resentment is absorbed by the door of space, and the door of space gradually begins to shine. No, the sacrifice has begun. The dragon dust flies all the way, suddenly feels the terror wave ahead. The dragon dust is more and more anxious. Boom! Suddenly, the fast-flying dragon dust collides with another divine light, just like 2 meteors colliding together precisely. A startling explosion. Dragon dust was shocked blood surge, eyes with stars, almost a mouthful of blood. All over the sky, dragon dust see a shadow. When you see the shadow, dragon dust pupils suddenly shrink. Long Chen, the enemy of broken wings, today I want you to pay back 100 times. The shadow disappeared and a man with a golden crown and murderous eyes appeared. Kuntu, to Long Chen's surprise, Kuntu also came. What shocked Long Chen most was that Kuntu's blood was so powerful that it seemed no less than him. When he felt Kuntu's breath carefully, Long Chen found that Kuntu had reached the realm of the king. How long had he been separated? He's going to be king of the world? At this time, Wang Shenhui, the king of Kuntu's head, was in a state of rising qi and blood. The surrounding space was squeezed out of the waves of death. Behind him, a huge figure of Kunpeng emerged, obscuring the world. At this time, he is just like the master of the world. He looks down on all living beings and no one can compete with him. He stood in the sky, the cold, killing intention locked the dragon dust, the golden symbol in his eyes flickered, as if to spray fire. Longchen, today I will tear you to pieces. Kuntu gritted his teeth and looked at Longchen, which aroused his endless humiliation. I don't have time for you. Get out of here. Dragon dust a break drink, behind Kunpeng wings tremble, people like lightning, kill Kuntu. In the face of Kuntu who has been promoted to the realm of king, Long Chen has no fear and kicks Kuntu fiercely. Death, Kuntu roared, facing the foot of Long Chen, he punched hard. But what he didn't expect was that Long Chen's move turned out to be a false move. The wings of Kunpeng behind Long Chen quivered, And then he flew out from another angle and crossed over Kunta's head. The gate of hell is about to open. Longchen must stop it, or everything will be finished. Asshole, where to go? Kuntu was so angry that he became Kunpeng. The endless rune flow on his wings caught up with him like a meteor. To Long Chen's surprise, Kuntu, who was promoted to the king's realm, had completely different wings from before. The runes appeared were different from many of Long Chen's. And the speed is faster than Long Chen. Although Long Chen flew out first, Kunta caught up with him after several breaths. Boom! The long sword of Long Chen comes out of its sheath and cuts Kunta fiercely with one knife. Kunta's wings are closed, and it is hard to meet the strike of Long Chen. The void is shattered, and the huge ripples spread. Kuntu is shaken, and Long Chen continues to fly forward by the force of anti-shock. You're a coward. You've got a good fight. Kuntu roared, his wings opened the world, and he killed again. Long Chen ignores his provocation and gallops forward with all his strength. When Kuntu is about to catch up with him, Long Chen sees the black border in front of him. In the black border, countless people are wailing in pain. With the rise of the black flame, all the black silk threads are floating to the sky. On the sky, a black space door is slowly forming. A strange pattern appears on the space door. Long Chen finds that the pattern is familiar, but he can't remember where he saw it. When he saw the border, Long Chen was ecstatic. He came in time. The door of space has not been fully formed. Everything is still in time. Just as the dragon dust is about to rush past and destroy the flame barrier, suddenly the space in front of it is distorted, and countless strong people emerge. Long Chen saw the ancestor of the Kunpeng clan, the monster of the Morwa clan, the strong man of the Ming clan, and the figure of Liao Bensong, the leader of the Jiuyo Hall. At the beginning, the strong men who besieged Xia Guhong appeared in Xiandu. Long Chen almost killed all their masters. Now when they saw Long Chen, their eyes turned red. Terran bastard, return my people's life. A demon elder, seeing Long Chen, roared and killed the first one. Today, let's finish it. Seeing these strong men, Long Chen didn't have any fear. On the contrary, his blood was boiling and his fighting spirit was astonishing. The dragon dust is covered with golden dragon scales, and the sacred dragon power breaks out, shattering the clouds in all directions, making the stars swaying, and the dragon dust stops drinking, just like a dragon chant. The Battle of the Dragon King now. www. Novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4029, Boom! The golden scales of Long Chen's body glowed, as if covered with golden armor, and the holy light lit up the sky. The golden radiance, like the direct sunlight, makes people unable to open their eyes. The inborn domineering power of Long Chen radiates for 9 days and makes people tremble forever. You want to stop me? The dragon dust roars like thunder and shakes the 4 fields. At this time, he summons the Dragon King battle body again, and the Dragon King battle body after practicing the Dragon God's body refining technique is not the same as before. The endless power rises in the body of Long Chen, and the tangible power blends with the intangible power. At this time, Long Chen has the desire to blow up the heaven and earth. I saw that the strong one of the demons came with a spear. It was the full blow of the strong one of the 3-flower level. It was extremely powerful. The long spear was like a demon dragon, abusing and roaring. When a big golden hand grasped the spearhead, the tyrannical spear suddenly fell silent, and even the rune on the spear faded and finally disappeared. Go back! The other strong members of the Monroe clan yelled when they saw that they were not doing well. At the same time, they gave quick support. He was shocked at the old man of the Morwa clan who was shot by Long Chen. His spear seemed like a hyena saw the dragon and lost contact with his soul in a moment. At that moment, the terrible threat of death shrouded him. He did not wait for those people to remind. People have rapidly retreated. Want to escape? Long Chen gave a cold hum, and the spear in his hand pushed fiercely. Almost as soon as the spear left Long Chen's big hand, he caught up with the old man of the Monroe clan. Poof! In the eyes of countless people, the spear penetrates the old man. The spear is still strong, with a sharp sound explosion, and in a twinkling of an eye, it comes to the strong people of the Monroe family who come to the rescue. The speed of the spear is extremely fast. It points directly at a 3-flower level god of the Monroe clan. The old man roars and smashes the spear in his hand. Bang! The 2 spears burst into pieces, and the old man of the Monroe clan was so bloody that he couldn't even catch Longchen's move. All useless things go away. The life of Longchen is mine. Kunta's cold voice came, and his golden wings covered the sky, tearing the whole world like the blade of God. Bang! Longchen's golden wings were cut off like a sword. Longchen didn't even have a chance to react, so he was hit by the wings. Wanli wings, almost all fell into the earth's cracked texture, extended to the end of the line of sight. This blow seems to blow up a side of the world. This blow, the 3-flower level of respect on the scene of the strong people's faces have changed, this violent power they have never seen in their life. The most important thing is that it's pure physical force. It's as fast as lightning. Without the fluctuation of the law of heaven, it can't produce induction, so it's beaten to death. Looking at the huge figure of Kunpeng, everyone has a look of awe in their eyes. The Kunpeng clan is worthy of the legendary existence. Just when people thought that the battle was over and Longchen should be beaten into foam, Kunta's huge body was shaking all of a sudden. Why? People exclaimed. Kaka kaka. The earth is cracking, Kunta's wings are still extending under the earth, and the earth is squeezed by the huge force and begins to deform. Longchen is not dead yet? People's hearts jump wildly. Before, Longchen didn't open his defense at all, so he was hit by a blow. How can he survive? No, he is not pressing down, but... Someone opened his mouth wide in surprise. At this time, people were shocked to find that Kunta's claws supported the ground, and the earth began to collapse. Instead of pressing down, he wanted to pull out his wings. Under the earth, it seems that something seizes his wings to pull him underground. At this time, Kunpeng's face also changed. Suddenly, he turned into a huge Kunpeng. With his claws open, he grasped Kuntu and yanked out. Chi, all of a sudden, there was a shower of blood in the sky. Kuntu was pulled out, but a wing was torn off against his body. Ah! Kuntu uttered a shrill scream, and the wings were the biggest harvest for him to enter the ancestral land. His original wings were cut down by Longchen, and he had become half a useless man. In order to gain more power, Kuntu risked his life to enter the ancestral land and inherited the wings of his ancestors. Because the wings carried the rune of his ancestors, he fused the wings and rushed to the kingdom without control. In principle, it is a good thing to rush to the kingdom. But in fact, this is to encourage the growth of young people, which will seriously damage his foundation and make him touch the ceiling of his practice prematurely. But Kunta didn't care anymore. Last time in 30,000 worlds, Longchen hit him too hard. If he couldn't get revenge, let alone the ceiling, he would have to stop in fairyland in his life. After inheriting these wings, Kunta's strength has greatly increased. However, this wing is not his. It will take some time for Kuntu to really exert its power. But after receiving the news from Longchen, where can he wait? Kill directly come over, the result feather wing foundation is not steady, unexpectedly by Longchen abruptly to pull down. Dragon dust. Kunta's teeth are about to be broken. This is not the result he wanted, it is totally different from the scene he expected. Before he came, he thought about countless vicious means to torture Longchen to death. Before he took the shot, he was still hesitating about which method was suitable. Even when he took the shot, he was worried about whether he would beat Longchen to death. Now that one of his wings has been torn off, he is surprised and angry. His mind is blank. There is a big gap between ideal and reality. Even Kunpeng's grandfather didn't expect this. He was also surprised and angry. He was angry that Kunta Mingming said that he had reached the 3rd stage of flesh and blood fusion. But the flesh and blood tear, obviously he did not reach that point. Kunta, eager to kill Longchen, even lied to him. Next, the huge wings of Kunpeng appear and disappear. After Longchen tore off the wings, he was shocked to find that there was an archaic atmosphere on the wings. Long Chen knew that the wings were not born again by Kuntu, but were handed down. On that wing, only a few runes were activated. It was obvious that Kuntu could not exert all his power, so he came to him for revenge. Now Kuntu, in the eyes of Long Chen, is no longer the enemy, but an amiable boy giving money. Dragon Dust just refined his wings, but also immersed in the rapid pleasure, he can't wait to send gifts again. Dragon Dust excited at the same time, but also secretly grateful to the Dragon Strong. If not for him, Dragon Dust in 3000 world will kill him, so he will have no gift to accept. Gifts should be given in pairs. Since you take the initiative, I'll take them myself. Once again, Tu Yichen has rushed to the fire. Stupid kid die. Kunpeng's grandfather was so angry that Kuntu lost one of his wings and his fighting power was greatly reduced. However, Long Chen, as if he could not see him, came straight at Kuntu, which was the biggest contempt for him. Kunpeng's grandfather made a move. His claws covered the sky and sealed all the attack routes of Long Chen. Obviously, he wanted to force Long Chen to fight hard. Poof! But to everyone's surprise, as soon as Kunpeng's forefather made a move, before his claws touched Long Chen's body burst into pieces. At that moment, Kunpeng's face changed greatly. At this time, Kuntu's scream came from behind him. In the blood light splash, Long Chen held a bloody wing in his hand. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 40-30, Separation? All of them were shocked. What they had done before was only the flame part of Long Chen, but they cheated everyone. Even Kunpeng, a strong man who had been through many battles, was cheated. The flame of dragon dust is separated with the breath of dragon dust. The power of flame adheres to the power of soul of dragon dust. If you don't distinguish it carefully, you can't distinguish it at all. Especially when people are in a high degree of mental tension and are in a state of shock and anger, I didn't expect that Long Chen would use the low-level means of separation. But in the eyes of Tu Zhifei, it's the only way to fool all the young people. Long Chen throws his wings into the chaotic space. In this way, the pair of treasures are in the hands of Long Chen before Kuntu covers the heat. Long Chen, I curse you to die hard. Kuntu lost his wings, as if his soul had been torn, his face twisted like a fierce ghost, and he roared hard. But he lost his wings, and his vitality and soul were greatly damaged. In this state, a finger of Long Chen could kill him. He was full of anger, but he didn't dare to go forward to work hard. I hope you live a long life. Long Chen looks at Kuntu, and a smile appears at the corner of his mouth. The wings behind the dragon dust tremble, and when the people are stunned, they rush to the hell flame in front of them. Devil's Gate has a strong roar. Boom! In front of us, the evil spirit soared into the sky, the earth burst into pieces, and many huge gates burst out, covering the sky and blocking the way of dragon dust. The huge door, with black air, was cast like steel, and there were amazing fluctuations on it. On the huge door, the devil's face is branded, and the whole door is bound by countless chains, as if something is sealed inside the door. Once it is released, it will devour life. The 9 gates line up and seal the direction of Long Chen's advance. It's the joint efforts of more than a dozen powerful members of the Monroe clan who want to stop Long Chen from destroying the border. Cloud Dragon offering claws, with a roar of dragon dust, it's like a dragon chanting to frighten the sky. One claw grabs out, and the shadow of the dragon behind the dust covers the sky. In the shadow, a dragon claw protrudes from the shadow. Boom boom. The sharp claw, like cutting tofu, pierces 9 demon gates in a row. The remaining power of the sharp claw is not weak, and it collides with the boundary of fire. The fire boundary roars and explodes, and is finally pierced by the dragon claw. To Long Chen's surprise, the boundary is pierced, but the fire is not extinguished, and the door of space is only slightly shaking. In a flash, Long Chen realized that the fire was immune to physical attacks, and quickly said to Huolinger, "Put away the fire here." Huolinger was absorbing the power of Blue Flame Greedy Wolf, but Long Chen needed it, so she had to stop absorbing and come out to help Long Chen. Huolinger turns into a dragon and rushes into the boundary of fire. His mouth is open, and the black hellfire, like the confluence of rivers, rushes into Huolinger's body. Boom! And at this time, Kunpeng's ancestor incarnated to cover the sky. Kunpeng rushed to the dragon dust, his wings spread, and the runes flowed, as if the universe was under pressure. Kunpeng Laozu is the real three-flower earth worshipper. The three flowers of Kunpeng are connected with each other and can swallow the sky. The Kunpeng ancestors are really angry. How proud are the Kunpeng people? They have always been enemies of the dragon clan. They have been fighting for hundreds of millions of years. The Kunpeng clan is the only bird that can compete with the real dragon. The Kunpeng clan has an ignominious history. The proud Kunpeng clan slaughters the dragon clan crazily for the sake of shame before the snow. At the beginning, Kuntu was fighting against Longchen because there was a real dragon breath in Longchen. Although Longchen was a human race, this real dragon breath doomed them to be mortal enemies. It's a pity that Kuntu was defeated by Longchen. If Longchen was a real dragon, Kunpeng's ancestors might still accept the result. However, Longchen is just a human race that has absorbed the essence and blood of the real dragon, a declining and weak race, and even defeated the Kunpeng clan in the flesh. This is a great shame of the Kunpeng clan. Seeing that Kunta had lost his fighting ability, Kunpeng's grandfather had to be bold to fight against Longchen. On the one hand, he hated Longchen, and on the other hand, he hated Kuntu for his failure. Even if he killed Longchen, he would be disgraceful. The Kunpeng clan is really something that can't be seen on the stage when they are young. No wonder they knelt down and begged for mercy to the real dragon clan at the beginning and bowed their heads to the throne. Seeing that Kunpeng's ancestor came to kill him, Longchen hummed coldly and did not dodge. His 5 fingers were like hooks, and they were like dragon claws, and they pounded at the void. At ordinary times, these forces, such as the dragon spirit, the dragon spirit, the dragon spirit, and the dragon spirit, collide with each other. It's like a group of infighting people who suddenly encounter the invasion of foreign enemies, immediately put down their contradictions and begin to unite with each other. Boom! The dragon's claw and Kunpeng's claw collide in the void. The moment the two claws collide, heaven and earth suddenly lose their original color. Then you can see that in the middle of the two giant claws, a sun is rapidly growing and swallowing the whole world. In the explosion, the energy of terror engulfed the whole battlefield in an instant. The roaring wind has torn the void, and the earth's crust has been deformed. The original Terran city has now become a wilderness, full of space cracks. The Kunpeng ancestor snorted and was shocked by the huge force. The Kunpeng ancestor was shocked and roared, "It's impossible? Even if you have a trace of real dragon blood essence, it is absolutely impossible to have such power. Even the Dragon King of the real dragon clan may not have such power. For you." At this time, he has begun to suspect that Longchen is not a Terran at all, but a Terran pretended by the dragon strongmen. Just as Kunpeng roared, a figure quietly sneaked behind him and slashed the roots of his wings with a long knife. Poof! The blood light splashed, and the Kunpeng ancestor roared, and he was cut at the root of his wing. Longchen fought with Kunta Laozu, and his blood almost gushed out. However, Longchen knew that Kunpeng Laozu was not feeling well, so he took the risk of sneaking attack. This guy didn't cut it off. Although Longchen succeeded in his sneak attack, he couldn't do his best under the surge of his qi and blood. This knife only cut off a huge wound, but failed to cut it off. Kunpeng is worthy of the existence of the real dragon clan. Without any defense, he failed to succeed. "Mean bastard, die for me!" Kunpeng's old ancestor roared and his wings glowed behind him. He was about to pop Longchen away, but Longchen had already taken a fancy to his wings. Now that he had successfully attacked, he was ready. With his left hand, he grasped one of Kunpeng's wings. With his right hand, he raised a handful of dark red dust, which fell into Kunpeng's wound. Kunpeng's whole body trembled and screamed bitterly. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4031, Despicable Dragon Clan, How can you use Yin move? Kunpeng Laozu roared. It turned out that the dust was nothing else. It was the rust scraped off from the chain when dragon dust landed on the ghost ship, with the power of years attached to it. Even Kunpeng's horrible body can't stand the erosion of time, and the wound rots in a large area in a moment. Boom boom. Kunpeng's ancestor is crazy to throw Longchen off his back. Poof, it's a pity that Longchen didn't fall down. Instead, Longchen took the opportunity to cut Kunpeng on his other wing. Longchen sprinkled another piece of rust on his wound, and he still had time to sneer. First, Lao Tzu is not a dragon. Second, when it comes to meanness, who can be meaner than you, Kunpeng? Mingming knelt down to beg for mercy and bowed his head to submit to the throne, but secretly plotted against the dragon people. Lao Tzu only gave back to the dragon people in his own way. Even if you don't talk about the first two things, you are a 3-flower level strong man. You have lived a long time, but you come to deal with me, a rookie who has just entered the fairyland. Aren't you mean? Have you lived for so many years, and all your accomplishments have been trained to this face? You're all hairy, laughing at people who look like chickens? Boom boom. Kunpeng's ancestors struggle wildly, but they can't shake the dragon dust down. The dragon dust is like a barnacle adsorbed on the bottom of the boat. If Kunpeng's ancestors try hard, they can't help it. At this time, Kunpeng Laozu also panicked. He was as powerful as him. He was seized by Longchen and could kill him. In this way, his wound could not be healed, and in order to resist the corrosion of copper rust, he had to consume a lot of original strength to wear out the strength of time. He will become weaker and weaker, and Longchen is like a cheetah hiding in the dark. Once he seizes the opportunity, it will give him a fatal blow. Return to human form, otherwise how to throw him down. In the distance, countless strong people look at the struggling Kunpeng ancestor. They want to help, but they can't get close to him. They are afraid of being hurt by mistake. Some people shout. Get that person to remind. The Kunpeng old ancestor immediately shrinks the body shape, but at the moment that he is about to turn into human shape, puff, a pair of his wings left the body and were torn off by the dragon dust, and Kunpeng's father screamed again. Haha, idiot, turn into human form, your power is limited, can you still hold these wings? When Longchen laughs, he suddenly suppresses his smile and says with an apologetic look, sorry, it's too impolite. You and Kuntu are both my big customers. I shouldn't laugh at you. In this way, there will be no repeat customers in the future. I'll kill you, Kunpeng Laozu roared, his face twisted, his eyes flamed, holding a bloody halberd to kill Longchen. Bang! In the face of Kunpeng Laozu's attack, Longchen waved his fist to block it, and there was a loud bang. Kunpeng Laozu was shocked to retreat 3 steps, while Longchen's body was only slightly shaken. You've lost both wings. You've lost nearly half of your accomplishments. Now, what do you rely on to be arrogant? Is it because of your thicker skin than the wall? Longchen still keeps the posture of waving his fist to meet the enemy, and his face is full of sneers. I don't know if it's because the blood essence of the real dragon is flowing in the body, which makes the Kunpeng people crazy and makes the dragon dust full of pleasure. Buzz, suddenly, the space behind the dragon dust is different. A long sword breaks through the air, and the power of belief surges in like a tide. Bang! Longchen smashed his backhand and felt his arm shaking violently. There was a sharp pain on his fist and he was cut by a sharp sword. When Longchen looks back, it is Liao Bensong, the leader of Jiuyou Hall. At this time, Liao Bensong is also shocked. His belief is invincible, but he can only break the skin defense of Longchen, and even his bones and muscles are not hurt. It seems that this time, I finally came. If I kill you this time, I will be a butcher. Longchen looks at Liao Bensong, his face is gloomy, and his eyes are cold. Jiuyou Hall is dedicated to slaughtering those who have not yet grown up, and he is one of them. At the beginning of the War of Annihilation in Tianwu, Longchen almost died in the hands of the strong man in Jiuyou Hall. In that war, too many people fell, which brought endless pain to Longchen. Although Brahma is the main messenger behind the scenes, Liao Bensong is the executioner. Today, let's make a thorough liquidation. Long Chen took a look at the door of the space and took a deep breath. Now the fire spirit is absorbing the fire of hell. Those dead souls are no longer roasted by the fire of hell, so there are not so many complaints. The door of hell cannot be opened without enough complaints as motivation. Now, it seems that everything is under control. Now that the bottom job has been completed, don't rush to destroy the door of space. Long Chen has to avenge the dead 9 stars first. Ignorant boy, who do you think you are? To kill the gods, dream about it. Liao Bensong sneers. A statue of God appears behind him, and the holy glory envelopes him for a moment. The endless power of faith twines around him and worships him. Behind the huge statue, there are countless small sculptures. Every statue is a reservoir of the power of faith, and every statue is the inheritance of a plane. Juyo Temple is all over the 9 days and 10 places, and there are many believers in the world. The power of belief accumulated over the years is unimaginable. This is the most terrible part of Shinshio. They are the gods standing on top of all living beings. It is all living beings who have elevated their status with their own lives and beliefs. They can freely enjoy and dominate the power of believers' beliefs. The strength of divine cultivation lies not in their realm or their artifact, but in the power of their belief. Today, the arrival of Master Liao Bensong calls out his statue and uses all the power of faith. His breath is ignited in an instant. He has only the realm of king, but his breath is even more terrifying than the Kunpeng ancestor of the 3-flower level. If I believe in it, my soul will live forever. You can never kill me, and I can easily crush you. Liao Bensong Cold Tunnel. Oh, then I want to try the legendary immortality, whether it really exists. Long Chen looks at Liao Bensong. The blood flowing slowly in his body runs rapidly in an instant. Boom, with the operation of dragon's blood, all the golden spherical runes in Long Chen's body are awakened. At this time, Long Chen enters the strongest state. Feeling the endless power in his body, it seems that he is going to burst. Long Chen's big hand slowly extends to the handle behind him. When Long Chen holds Ming Hong's sword in his big hand, Liao Bensong is locked in the vast sea of murders. At that moment, all the voices of the whole world are lost. Choking, when the long sword came out of its sheath, the whole world was absorbed by the shadow of the sky-breaking sword. The long sword cut through the sky wall and went straight to Liao Bensong. This blow, Long Chen has no reservation. He has only one idea in his heart, to kill Liao Bensong. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4032. The whole world was torn apart by this sword, and even the starry sky above 9 days was cut open like a picture scroll. It's not a divine skill, it's not any magic method, it's the purest power without any skill. This Tao is the link between the invisible and visible forces in Long Chen's body. Long Chen hasn't used it for a long time. When he cut out the knife, Long Chen suddenly realized that he didn't need to think hard to synthesize the invisible force and the visible force. It only needs a fusion point between the invisible force and the visible force, and this person's fusion point is his long sword. Although the dragon god's body refining skill comes from the strong of the dragon clan, it has been separated from its original appearance when it comes to Long Chen. This is the unique magic power of Long Chen. Long Chen doesn't have a dragon horn, but he can use weapons. When movement and stillness, clearness and clumsiness, yin and yang merge into the sword, everything becomes clear. In fact, it can't be blamed on the dragon dust. The dragon people don't use weapons. Every part of their body is the strongest magic weapon, so they never disdain to use weapons. Therefore, when the strong people of the dragon clan teach the dragon dust and dragon god's body refining skills, they also instill the idea that the body is the strongest weapon, so they limit the thinking of the dragon dust. Now Long Chen uses the Minghong sword. When all the forces are integrated into the Minghong sword, the endless runes on the Minghong sword will light up not only the world, but also the road of Long Chen. Boom! The speed of the long sword is not fast, but it doesn't give people time to escape. This sword not only locks up Liao Bensong, but also the whole world. This sword not only cuts down Liao Bensong, but also seems to destroy this world. At that moment, all the people on the scene were locked in by the terrible spirit of extermination, and their hearts were jumping wildly. They were all old monsters who had lived for endless years. They had never seen such a terrible knife in their lifetime. In my name, command all living beings, the power of all living beings, that is, my power, the life of all living beings, let me take it. When he saw the dragon dust coming, Liao Ben-song sang aloud. With his voice, the huge statue behind him lit up, and the 3 flowers gathered on the statue. At the same time, the 10 million small statues trembled, and the white silk threads connected the big statues. It's a gamble on the power of all beliefs. Is Liao Ben-song going to work hard? It's just a fairy king. Have you been forced to that point? Someone exclaimed. We should know that although the power of belief is terrible, once it is consumed, it cannot be recovered in a few years or decades. It may take tens of millions or even tens of millions of years to recover. However, there is a big drawback. That is, if the power of belief is not enough, it will not be promoted. Liao Ben-song is at the peak of Jiawang. He is only 1 step away from Shunzuan. Normally, he will be promoted to Shunzuan if his power of belief reaches the limit in a few years. But this time he used so much power of faith, even if Liao Ben-song killed Long Chen, his promotion road would be extended infinitely backward, which would be too expensive. So when all the statues of Liao Ben-song were lit up, the gods and the strong were all excited. Long Chen's long sword locked Liao Ben-song. It seems that the horror of this sword is far from what they saw. On the long sword of Liao Ben-song, the endless power of faith vibrates across the sky with the divine radiance of crescent moon. In the divine light, you can see endless figures who are praying piously on their knees. These people are all believers of Liao Ben-song. The sword cuts through the void with the supreme power of the sword. I have hundreds of millions of believers. You are just a poor boy with no background. What are you going to fight with me? Liao Ben-song cut out a sword and roared to the sky. Liao Ben-song is very angry and painful, but Long Chen's knife is so terrible that it shakes the golden thread of his fate, which means that it is possible to kill him, so he has to go all out. At the same time, he also has endless hatred, because he is about to be promoted to God. After this blow, he may need to delay for 100 years. You can cheat a group of mindless idiots. No matter how poor I am, I don't care to cheat anyone. Even if you have hundreds of millions of believers, you can't change your fate. Dragon dust cold drink. Bang! The sword cuts, the stone breaks the sky, the law of heaven and earth collapses in an instant, and the clear world turns into chaos in an instant. The runes of the main road are scattered, and the fragments of time and space are flying. Those 3 flower-level earth worshippers around have already made a good defense, but they are still shocked to the point that their chi and blood are surging, their eyes are full of stars, and even some people's eyebrows are split, and the spirit is almost broken. This is the shocking impact, which releases energy, makes the law collapse, order chaos, endless space cracks around, like the mouth of a monster, greedily sucking the world. Buzz. Endless energy is pounding back and forth, and the law of heaven is constantly being torn. In the endless roar, Long Chen is holding the Ming Hong sword and pressing Liao Ben-song to death. 2 magic soldiers are shaking, roaring, and roaring. People were shocked to find that Liao Ben-song used such a terrible force of faith to fight with Long Chen. No, it's not equal, because Long Chen's long sword is pressing down, and thousands of roars make the space under Liao Ben-kang's feet constantly distorted. It's obvious that Long Chen has the upper hand. The 3 flower-level local dignitaries on the scene were all wondering whether Long Chen would be killed by Liao Ben-song. Even if he didn't die, he would be seriously injured. Only they knew the horror of the power of faith. That's a really frightening force. Although all of them are the 3 flower-level leaders, they all know that if Liao Ben-song tries his best, no one will dare to compete with him. However, the roar of Long Chen's long sword is overwhelming Liao Ben-song. This picture makes everyone can't believe their eyes. Without any skills, there is only a violent hedge. The strength is clear at a glance. The 2 men's magic soldiers are trembling. The blade is rubbing against the blade, making a sharp sound explosion. The sparks are splashing like stars. Buzz! In the void, one ripple after another, with two people as the center, constantly flows to all directions, forming a wave of death, washing the heaven and earth. Behind the dragon dust, the god ring vibrates, the giant dragon's figure inside the god ring churns, and infinite power bursts out. At this time, the dragon dust, like the god of heaven, looks down on Liaobansong, and the two eyes kill suddenly. Suddenly, the divine ring behind the dragon dust suddenly brightens up, and the loud sound of the dragon chants rings out again. The high-pitched sound of the dragon chants pierces through the clouds and cracks the rocks. Different from the previous sound of the dragon chants, it seems that the sound comes from the ancient world and passes through time and space. Boom! Heaven and earth shake together, the golden rosy clouds gush, Liaobansong suddenly burst out with blood, and the 10 million statues behind him are covered with cracks for a moment. What? At that moment, a look of panic appeared on countless faces. P.S. Brothers, I'm sorry for you. I'll give you another 2 days. I'll adjust my state and make this climax as perfect as possible. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4033 How is that possible? This is the first thought in people's mind. The power of belief can only be consumed, not counterattacked. The power of belief is a kind of power beyond the way of heaven, which is condensed by the endless spiritual power of all living beings and cannot be destroyed. Just because of this, even the 3 flower-level people who respect the strong are in awe of Liaobansong, the king of the world. This is the horror of the power of faith. However, the power of Longchen has made the statue behind Liaobansong split, which is beyond people's understanding. How can it be? He is not a dragon. Why does he have such a powerful divine power? In Kunpeng's eyes, I can't believe it. The Kunpeng clan also has the sacred power. It is the power that the Kunpeng clan has won by fighting against the way of heaven for generations. This power transcends the way of heaven. The holy power is that after every generation of strong people fighting against the way of heaven, after all kinds of calamities, the body can accumulate a trace of holy power. And this holy power, after reproduction, superposition, finally formed a strong inheritance. It can be said that the holy power is the power of the Kunpeng family, which is captured by countless generations of strong people who fight against heaven with their lives. In addition to the Kunpeng clan, there are also many races that have sacred power. They are not willing to be controlled by the way of heaven. They fight to break through the shackles and accumulate sacred power. However, the 2 most powerful races are Kunpeng and Zhenlong. And the sacred power of the real dragon is the crown of all the people. Because of this, it has the advantage of scale and the title of emperor of all animals. That's why Longwei can suppress all the animals because of its sacred atmosphere. Only when he has the power to fight with Lao Peng can he see the same power. But what he can't accept is that the holy power of dragon dust is so terrible. Although the breath is weak, the intensity is amazing. If his holy power is a wood as big as a house, the holy power of Longchen is a 3-inch steel nail. Although the steel nail is small, its hardness is amazing. It directly resists the power of Liaobankang's belief, but Liaobankang's belief can't stand it. What surprised Kunpeng the most was that the holy power of Longchen was not only from the real dragon, but also from himself. After the fusion of the 2 holy powers, he formed a kind of holy power that he had never seen before. This completely overturned his understanding of the power of holiness. Only when the power of holiness competes with the way of heaven, can it fight for the right and freedom of life in the near death. In addition, it needs the accumulation and inheritance of countless generations to form the power of holiness. Longchen, a human race, is still rising from the next generation. There must be no sacred inheritance in his ancestors. How did his sacred power come from? Kaka. Just when Kunpeng's grandfather was shocked, the statuette behind Liaobansong kept cracking. Even the biggest one began to crack. It seemed that there were signs of bursting. At this time, Liao Bensong was also frightened and unbelievable. He didn't know much about the power of holiness, not as much as Kunpeng. He couldn't understand why it was so. The power of belief was almost invincible. "Come and help me or everyone will die." Liao Bensong roars. He suddenly feels frightened. At the same time, a face suddenly comes to his mind. It's a fat man. I'm afraid that the fat man's mouth is wearing a sinister smile at this time. Bang! Just as he opened his mouth and roared, countless statues behind him suddenly burst to pieces, which means that Liao Bensong has been cut off from the communication with believers and can no longer obtain the power of belief. Poof! Liao Benkang's blood gushed, his eyebrows cracked, and a look of panic appeared in his eyes. Suddenly, his eyebrows broke open, and a transparent arrow stabbed Longchen's eyebrows. The diversion of ideas, the power of heaven? Those strong men have killed at this time. When they see Liao Bensong fighting against Longchen, they can still burst out soul attack. They all jump. In this case, the earth worshippers can't do it at all. If they resist with all their strength, the essence, qi and spirit of human beings are integrated and inseparable, and they will only accelerate their own defeat. But Liao Bensong made this blow, but also can resist the pressure of Longchen, which shows that he used a special force. This kind of power is called Ji in the dragon race, but it has no name in the human race. It is called the power of heaven. Only the heaven-level strong can control it. If you want to control this kind of energy, you usually have to combine the three flowers into one to reach the realm of selflessness and formlessness, that is, the realm of heaven. People didn't expect that Liao Bensong, a world king, had the power of heaven ahead of time. But to everyone's surprise, when his transparent arrow was sent out, Longchen didn't escape. The sword of the soul hit Longchen in front of his eyebrows and burst into pieces. What? People's hearts jump wildly because they are shocked to find that a transparent shield also appears in front of Longchen's eyebrows, which unexpectedly blocks Liao Benkang's attack. Kaka. At this time, the huge statue behind Liao Bensong quickly cracked. Liao Bensong's eyes were frightened. He wanted to call for help, but once he opened his mouth, the violent pressure would make him burst and die. Work together. At this time, Kunpeng Laozu saw that it was wrong. If he didn't rescue, Liao Bensong would really die. Once Liao Bensong died, who could resist Longchen? Boom! Including Kunpeng ancestor, Morwa clan, Blood clan, and the Underworld clan, they killed Longchen at the same time. They did not dare to get close to Longchen, but launched a long-range attack. One attack after another rips the sky wall. Every move is full-blown. They can't care too much. They must kill Longchen as soon as possible. The power of Longchen has scared them. Suddenly, a transparent light curtain appeared around Longchen. As soon as the light curtain appeared, everyone's heart jumped wildly. Was it the power of heaven again? Bang! All the people's attacks were cut on the light curtain around Longchen. There was no big bang. The light curtain around Longchen was distorted for a moment, and then everyone's face changed. No, our power. Poof! The dragon dust gushes blood, and Liao Bensong in front of him doesn't even hum, so he is shocked into dust by the dragon dust, and the statue behind him turns into nothingness, and the endless power of faith dissipates. Longchen, I won't let you go. In the endless void, Liao Benkang's unwilling roar came. His body broke up and Yuan Shen turned into nothingness. But he had the support of faith. If the power of faith was endless, he still had the chance to reshape Yuan Shen. Buzz, the power of belief in the sky was just about to dissipate between heaven and earth. Suddenly, the whole world trembled, and the door of space in the 9 heavens slowly opened. When the door of space opens, dragon dust can't help but be shocked. How did the door of hell suddenly open? When the door of hell is opened, the suction of terror comes, and the power of belief that is about to dissipate is sucked into the door of hell. No empta, you thousand-knife killer. In the endless power of belief, Liao Benkang's voice came. No, it's not the smell of hell. I've been cheated. Longchen's face changed greatly. At this moment, the door of the space suddenly lights up, and a light column rushes straight ahead, which is the imperial capital. At this time, Dragon Dust sees endless black flames above the imperial capital. When he saw that pillar of light, his soul suddenly trembled, and his extremely bad premonition rose in his heart. That's the flame of flaming emptiness, and their goal is Qingxian. At that moment, Long Chen's murderous spirit soared to the sky, and the wings of the Kunpeng trembled behind him. He couldn't care to kill these people in front of him and rushed to the imperial capital. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4034. Long Chen is so anxious that he suddenly finds out that it's a conspiracy. It's a big conspiracy. The driver behind this conspiracy must be Emputa. Only Emputa can lay such a terrible trap. It is obvious that all these things are paving the way for the introduction of Dragon Dust into the pit step by step. The so-called sacrifice in the Styx River is just a cover. In order to complete this trap, Emputa not only attracted the Kunpeng clan, the Morwa clan, the Blood clan, the Underworld clan and so on, but also brought in Liao Bensong. Long Chen killed Liao Bensong. Because Liao Bensong has the power of faith, the Yuan god can be attached to the power of faith. If the power of faith is not extinguished, he will never die. But this time it was different. He really died. He didn't die in the hands of Long Chen, but in the conspiracy of Emputa. Emputa takes advantage of Liao Benkang's life to lay a bigger trap for Yu Qingxian. At this moment, Long Chen is cold and angry. Long Chen killed Liao Bensong, and this step fell into Emputa's calculation. We can see how terrible the next trap will be. Long Chen secretly hates himself. He, who has practiced the dragon god's body refining skill, is extremely confident and ignores a terrible enemy. Emputa, this time, I will never let you live again. Boom! The wings behind the dragon dust tremble and go through the air. The eyes are full of cold murderers. He knew that Emputa was absolutely terrible. Liao Bensong was not his opponent at all. No matter in strength or wisdom, they were not on the same level at all. Otherwise, Liao Bensong would not be killed by Emputa. But this time, Long Chen is really angry. Although he knows that Emputa is terrible and well prepared, Long Chen is still determined to kill him. Because this time, Emputa touched the scales of Long Chen, and he dared to count Yu Qingxian, which made Long Chen absolutely crazy. Long Chen flies all the way, and the space is constantly distorted, just like shuttling through the passage of time and space. Soon, Long Chen sees the imperial capital. At this time, the imperial capital has lost its glory in the past, and all the runes on the buildings are gloomy, just like a dead city, losing its vitality. Above the imperial capital, there are two dark space gates, one of which is burning to the sky, burning all things, and the law of heaven is ignited by it. That black flame, sending out endless divine power, Long Chen recognized his wave at a glance. That is the flame of Yen Su. This gate is the gate of Yen Su. Another gate is full of ghosts. The endless stream of death turns. On the gate, a strange flower appears. There are dozens of petals of the flower, slender in shape, like leaves and not leaves, like flowers and not flowers, with eye patterns in the center of the flower, just like the eyes of the devil, which makes people shiver. This flower is the legendary flower on the other side. It is said that the flower on the other side is present and the gate of hell is open. In other words, this gate is the real gate of hell. The gate of Yen Su is opposite to the gate of hell. Between the two gates is the capital of Zhuge Emperor. At this time, over the imperial city of Zhuge Emperor, many powerful people of Zhuge Empire, including Yu Shaoyun, Jiang Huixin and Su Lanxin, gathered together. They looked coldly at the endless powerful enemies in the distance. Among them were the lords of the Purple Ting Empire, the Tianxi Empire, the Dongming Empire, and the other three flower-level local dignitaries, with hundreds of people. However, among the three flowers, there are two people who seem to be out of place with them. One of them is Emputa, the lord of Shueisha Temple. The appearance of another person made the whole Suzaku Empire angry. Yu Qingchuan's eyes were full of disbelief. Dongfang Zichu, I didn't expect that I would treat you as my brother and entrust my daughter to you for teaching. I'm blind. Yu Xiaoyun looked at the man beside Imputa, and his eyes almost burst out fire. The man was no other than the leader of Yantian God sect. Dongfang Zichu, Yu Qingchuan's master, never thought that he would be here. He also stood beside Empta, Wang Taibei and others. Pointing to Dongfang Zichu, Jiang Huixin gritted her teeth and said, Dongfang Zichu, we entrusted you to help seal the emperor's seal in Qingchuan's body. It turns out that you are just perfunctory. Since you want help, why do you promise? After so many years of separation, we can't escape the restriction of fate. If we had known that, we would have preferred that Qingxian would be with us all the time and watch her grow up quietly. You are so hateful. Jiang Huixin is the queen of Mu Yi, but she is trembling with anger. Later, her voice chokes and she can't speak anymore. Yu Qingxian supports her mother, looks at her angry father and her heartbroken mother. Yu Qingxian doesn't know what happened. Facing the anger of Yu Xiaoyun, Jiang Huixin and others, Dongfang Zichu said faintly, I'm really sorry, people are ambitious. When you sent Qingxian, I received the order of Yansu and promised benefits. Instead of wasting my strength on the seal, I'd better let the fatalist wake up as soon as possible. When Qingxian gets the rainbow color flame to recognize the Lord, my mission will be completed. Boom! At this moment, the void exploded, 9 days trembled, endless killing intention covered the sky. At that moment, the whole sky seemed to fall down. In the endless sense of killing, there was a roar. That is to say, in the world of heavenly fire, it's not a coincidence that Qingxian is targeted by Yanza's son. It's your arrangement, isn't it? With the sound falling, black hair flying, black robe floating, like the dragon dust of 9 days killing God, appear in the void. Longchen, when she saw Longchen, Yu Qingchuan's tears came out. She was kind-hearted, but it didn't mean she was stupid. On the contrary, she was very clever. After hearing the beginning, she guessed what happened later. With a flash, Longchen comes to Yu Qingxian and hugs her tightly in front of everyone. Longchen, how can it be like this? Yu Qingxian lies in Longchen's arms and cries out. She can't imagine that her respected master takes her as a bargaining chip and deliberately lets Yanhong seize her Tianhong power. Looking at Yu Qingxian crying like a tearful person, Longchen's heart is cramped and angry. He turns to look at Dongfang Zichu. His eyes are full of cold intention to kill him. At that moment, his hatred for Dongfang Zichu is even more than that of Imputa. Facing Longchen's murderous eyes, Dongfang Zichu said with a smile, It's unexpected that you really killed Liao Bensong, but do you know that when you killed Liao Bensong, you also killed Yu Qingxian, which is equivalent to killing your beloved woman. The woman I love will never die, but you will never see the sun tomorrow. Longchen looks at Dongfang Zichu, word by word, every word is like the hammer of God, smashing on this piece of heaven and earth, the space is buzzing and shaking. This is a challenge, but also an oath. Dragon dust to Dongfangzi began to kill the heart. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4035. I'm shocked that you can kill Liao Bensong. It's a pity that you can't escape from the layout of Empta Hall. Dongfang Zichu looks at Longchen and shakes his head. What? When Dongfang Zichu's words came out, the strong people on the scene, regardless of the enemy, had a look of horror on their faces. Longchen killed Liao Bensong? Master Liao Benyu of Jiuzhang Hall? That's a super terrible strong man. Even if the realm is only the top of Jiawang, I'm afraid few of the 3 flower-level people are his opponents. Even if it is to defeat him, it is already difficult to reach the sky, and can Longchen kill him? People can hardly believe their ears. Longchen didn't speak. He was so angry that he didn't want to say any more. He accumulated strength in the dark and recovered quickly. Longchen killed Liao Bensong, but in fact the people who killed Liao Bensong were Imputa and Dongfang Zichu. Obviously, this plan is arranged by Imputa and Dongfang Zichu. They blame Longchen for Liao Benkang's death. Maybe this is to shirk responsibility. But Longchen didn't care anymore and didn't bother to explain. He also knew that Imputa and Dongfang Zichu didn't start. They were waiting for the two doors to open. And Long Chen is also waiting. He is waiting for his strength to recover. Time is good for him as well as the enemy. Long Chen's eyes, with a cold intention to kill, stare at Dongfang Zichu. Dongfang Zichu was staring at some scalp numbness by Long Chen. However, he was still calm and said, "Originally, the layout of Empta Hall was like this, but I thought it was a bit of a fuss. It seems that the one who knows you best in the world is the Lord of Empta Temple. However, you killed Liao Bensong and broke the balance of the Underworld Gate. As a result, the energy of the Underworld Gate was absorbed by the Hell Gate here. This will speed up the opening of the Gate of Hell. As soon as the Gate of Hell is opened, my beloved disciple will leave the world forever. It's really heartbreaking to think about it. After all, I brought up Qingxian by myself." "Shut the hell up." Dragon dust suddenly erupts into a roar. Dongfang Zichu is deliberately stabbing Yu Qingxian. Dragon dust's face suddenly becomes ferocious, just like a wild beast. "Haha, there's no need to be so angry, you know? Qingqian's life is very hard. She was born with the rune of flowers of hell on her feet. You know what that means? I tell you, that's the standard of the daughter of the Hades." "Who is the Hades? Do you know? It's the supreme existence of the underworld. In front of him, we are not even mole ants, but dust at most. But the seal of hell cannot delay the time of my cultivation. At the beginning, His Majesty Yu Shaoyan found me and promised me many benefits, including a precious drop of blood essence of ancient rosefinch. Unfortunately, no matter how precious the essence and blood of the ancient rosefinch is, it can't be equal to the benefits promised by Yensu. So I not only accepted the gift of rosefinch, but also got the promise of Yensu, but I didn't follow the agreement and didn't help Qingxian seal the flowers of hell. Instead, she uses the characteristics of the flower of hell to help her practice quickly, improve her realm, collect the power of all kinds of flames, awaken her own life flame, and accept the rainbow color flame as soon as possible, so that I can make an early delivery. Dongfang Zichu is not so fast. Dongfang Zichu, you little man. Yu Shaoyun roared. He gritted his teeth, and his eyes almost burst out with fire. Villain? Well, who doesn't live for profit in the world of practice? Originally in the world of Skyfire, I should be able to hand over. But I didn't expect to kill the dragon dust on the way and kill Yanhong, and I haven't received any news from Yensu for the time being. So I waited quietly, and just a month ago, I heard that I could hand over Qingxian. At this time, the Empta Temple Master came to me and said something about the Rosefinch Empire, and then we set up this bureau. I'm the same as the Empta Temple Master. I like to do everything perfectly. Although your appearance last time was an accident, it will certainly make Yensu dissatisfied. This time, I opened the door of Yensu, and you were there, so that the enmity between you can be solved together. In that way, the anger of Yensu won't spread on me. It's killing two birds with one stone. Dongfang Zichuin said with a smile. Master, I always respect you as a father and remember everything you taught me. Can you tell me, it's not true, can you not be so cruel? Yu Qingxian looks at Dongfang Zichu and sobs. Her face is full of pleading. In Yu Qingchuan's heart, Dongfang Zichu has always been gentle and gentle. She has taught and cared for her carefully. Because she has never been around her parents, she has always respected Dongfang Zichu as her father. But today, her respected master turned into a devil who cheated her. She wanted to take her as a chip and give it to Yensu. She seemed to be in a nightmare. Her face was full of tears. She was so pitiful and helpless. Watching Yu Qingxian cry so sad, Long Chen's heart is like a knife. Long Chen knows that the most painful thing in the world is not the pain of the body, not the pain of the soul, but the pain caused by betrayal, especially the betrayal by the most trusted people. It will be very painful. Long Chen's teeth are creaking. Unfortunately, he can't share the pain for Yu Qingxian. Therefore, Long Chen's hatred for Dongfang Zichu goes deeper into the bone marrow. Dongfang Zichu didn't have any guilt. Instead, he said with a slight disdain, Master and apprentice, I'll teach you another lesson. Being cheated only shows that you are stupid. In addition, Tears are just the manifestation of stupidity and cowardice. Emotion is the most useless thing in the world. If you want to be strong, you have to use it everywhere, and you can't have any scruples. From the day your parents sent you, you are my stepping stone, the ladder God gave me to step on a stronger realm. Enough! With a roar, Long Chen interrupted Dongfang Zika's words. His face was gloomy and said, "The reason why human beings are human is that they know feelings, but they don't know feelings. What's the difference between human beings and animals? You are still the head of a sect. It's funny to be shameless. You're talking nonsense here. Do your parents give birth to you purely for mating, so they give birth to such a cold-blooded thing as you?" In the face of Long Chen's scolding, Dongfang Zichu is not angry at all, and even has a smile on his face. "Scold as much as you can. If you don't scold again, you will have no chance, because you are about to enter a situation where life is worse than death. I have no anger but sympathy for you." "Only sympathy? No, I will let you know what is the price, what is the fear. In this world, no one can hurt my woman." When Long Chen finished, he turned his head to look at Yu Qingxian, who was full of tears. He gently wiped her tears with his big hand and comforted her. "Don't be afraid even if the world betrays you, but I'm here. For you, I'm willing to fight against the whole world." In the face of Long Chen's comfort, Dongfang Zichu, with a sneer on his face, said faintly, "When a man is dying his words are good, and when a bird is dying his song is sad. You will die, but what?" Long Chen suddenly releases Yu Qingxian, turns around and walks to Dongfang Zichu step by step. Dong dong. With each step, the void trembles, the golden dragon scales on Long Chen appear slowly, and the breath of Long Chen rises wildly. Then a loud dragon chant resounds through the world, shaking the ancient and modern times. Long Chen's big hand slowly holds the handle of the knife behind him, and the horror of killing makes the sky tremble. "Dongfang Zichu, today either you die or I die." Who, in the eyes of countless people, Long Chen rushed to Dongfang Zichu like a god of death. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4036, When Long Chen Comes Back, This Dongfangzi is Mine. Yu Xiaoyan has a big drink and is about to stand up to stop Long Chen. He has seen that Long Chen has experienced a big war. Although he didn't see how Long Chen killed Liao Bensong, he knew that Long Chen must have paid a huge price. If he fought against Dongfang Zichu at this time, he might be killed by Dongfang Zichu in several moves, because only he knew the details of Dongfang Zichu. Originally, Yu Xiaoyan didn't like Long Chen very much. On the one hand, Long Chen's personality was not pleasant. On the other hand, according to their calculation, Yu Qingxian's imprint of Hades might break out soon. They hoped to accompany Yu Qingxian for the last time. Therefore, among all the princes and daughters, Yu Qingxian is the only one who can live in the palace. Yu Xiaoyun and Jiang Huixin have already lost a lot of them. They just want to have more company in their last days. However, it is clear that Yu Xian is selfish to take away the love from their mother. Yu Xiaoyun doesn't want anyone to take Yu Qingxian away from him, but Jiang Huixin is different. Even though time is running out, she still hopes her daughter can get true love, so they support each other and oppose each other. But now things have evolved to such an extent that Long Chen loves and works hard for this country for Yu Qingxian. In the face of Dongfang Zichu, Enputa, Wing Taibai and many other terrible strongmen, Long Chen did not flinch. His murderous intention is enough to prove his feelings for Qingxian. Therefore, seeing that Long Chen is going to deal with Dongfang Zichu, Yu Xiaoyun is the first to stand up. Obviously, at this time, he has already identified with Long Chen's son-in-law. "You are all too naive. Everyone is just a turtle in a jar. Yu Xiaoyun, you and I were brothers. I advise you not to struggle. Struggle will only make you more painful." Dongfang Zichu smiles a little. Suddenly a finger pops up, and a firelight rushes to the door of Yansu. The door of Yansu trembles, and endless black runes light up on the door of Yansu. When the black rune lights up, Yu Qingxian's face suddenly turns pale and her whole body trembles. Her power of fire surges rapidly, and her own fire is going to leave her body. hold up the rosefinch to cover the sky. Yu Xiaoyun was surprised and angry when he saw this. The imperial city array opened, and the whole palace lit up. An archaic rosefinch floated over the palace. The holy breath came and covered the whole palace. Boom! The endless black runes spread over the gate of Yansu. The black flame, like a devil's tentacle, reaches to the border. The two forces are fighting each other. But Yu Xiaoyun and others were shocked that the rosefinch border began to sag slowly, and it seemed that it could not stop the black flame from coming. It's no use. This flame connects the world of flaming emptiness with the unique rules of the world of flaming emptiness. It can't be absorbed or offset. You can only bear it silently. Dongfang Zichu is a light tunnel. Boom! Yu Xiaoyun suddenly put his hands together. On his forehead, the rosefinch god pattern lit up, the blood color flame rose, and the endless god light surged to the rosefinch border. Father, don't. Seeing that scene, Yu Qingxian can't help exclaiming that Yu Xiaoyun should burn his blood essence to bless the border. Seeing that Yu Xiaoyun did so, Jiang Huixin, Su Lanxin and others began to work together. Then the princes and daughters, such as Zhu Yunwen, Zhu Yifeng Yu Qianxue, and all the people of the Zhuge Empire, began to burn their blood essence to bless the border. Boom! With the blessing of all the people, the rosefinch's border blooms with supreme brilliance. The black tentacle, which was about to touch Yu Qingxian, is now bounced away by the border and blocked out of the border. No, I don't want you to. Yu Qingxian cried like a tearful person. She was moved and sad by so many people burning blood for her. Qingxian, it's my parents who are sorry for you. We believe in the wrong people and we can't watch you grow up. But don't be afraid. Even if your parents are desperate, they will protect you. Yu Xiaoyun comforted softly that his eyes were full of doting and guilt. Dad. Yu Qingxian burst into tears. Hearing Yu Qingchuan's call, Yu Xiaoyun showed a happy smile on his face, which is the most common address for his father among the people. However, for the first time in his life, Yu Xiaoyun heard it, and he preferred it to his father. When the rune of Yansu Gate lights up, Longchen is hesitating whether to attack Yansu Gate first or kill Dongfang Zichu first. Meanwhile, Longchen is still communicating with Huilinger. But let Longchen disappointed is, at this time of flame, is not the real flame, but a kind of law she can't absorb. At this time, seeing the people burning blood essence and protecting Yu Qingxian for the time being, Longchen takes a deep breath. Without hesitation, he steps out of the sword and cuts it at Dongfangzi. All the people were shocked by the roar of blood. Despicable, Yu Xiaoyun roared. It turned out that at the moment of Longchen's attack, Dongfang Zichu, Imputa, Wang Taibei and others attacked at the same time, and dozens of strong men attacked at the same time, which means that Longchen fought against so many people at the same time with one person's strength. There are so many 3-flower-level strong men who are fighting against a dragon dust at the same time, which is just the beginning of the Fairy King. This is a shameless interpretation to the extreme. As for the man who has always won, he who is shameless is better than shameless. In order to achieve the goal, we should resort to all means. How mean? What about shamelessness? Are you dying people qualified to comment? Dongfang Zichu sneered. For altogether to deal with Longchen, he has no color of guilt, but with disdain and contempt on his face. Longchen, don't fight with them. Come back to the battle. We need to take a long-term view. We are blessed by the ancient spirit. They can't help us for a while. Don't be reckless. Yu Xiaoyun yelled. Even Yu Xiaoyun, a reckless man, can see that the plan of Dongfang Zichu and Imputa is step by step, the layout is accurate, and they use the Yansu Gate to contain people, and then deal with Longchen together. If everything follows their rhythm, there will be no hope at all. Now we have to come up with a way. Longchen was shocked and his blood surged. He was angry and his killing intention was boiling. He knew how terrible the layout of Imputa was. It was useless to think of any way at this time. Now it was the time to show his absolute power. Longchen wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and took a deep breath. He decided not to try any more, and he didn't bother to look for any flaws. What he wanted to do now was to kill violently. Qi Ming Hong Dao slowly inserted into the sheath, but the moment the long sword entered the sheath, the whole world suddenly lost its voice, and the heaven and earth were dead and silent. The fierce killing intention made the law of heaven and earth solidify. As everyone knows, Longchen is accumulating strength. The next blow will be a real thunder blow, which is the dividing line between you and me. In the face of dragon dust, a smile appeared on Empta's face. He was silent all the time and finally spoke. Do you think you can really deal with all of us by yourself? And me? At this time, a cold voice came, followed by a petite figure, slowly emerging in the distortion of space. And us. All of a sudden, the void collapses in the distance, and a group of figures appear. Their fighting spirit is as fierce as a sharp blade. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4037 Boss were late. It was Guoran and Xia Chen who came with more than 400 dragon blood soldiers. It turns out that during this period of time, the task Longchen gave them was to call all the dragon blood soldiers in the Purple Sun. In the 3000 world, the dragon blood soldiers gather, and there are more than 300 of them. They are all in the Purple Sun. Xia Chen and Guoran know where their clan is and go to find someone directly. However, since they were looking for it, they had to look for it in an all-round way and spread the news all over the place. They finally gathered 430 dragon blood soldiers. Maybe there are dragon blood warriors in Xianshan, but Xianshan is too big to convey all the information accurately. In the end, they can only gather so many for the time being. After gathering the dragon blood soldiers together, Xia Chen and Guoran distribute the heavenly fruit given by Longchen to each soldier, and distribute the dragon blood collected in 3000 worlds to them, so as to help them refine their new dragon blood bodies. After refining a new dragon blood battle, everyone adapts to the soaring strength and rehearses the array. When the strength reaches a certain level and there is no problem in their cooperation, all the talents come to join with dragon dust. Because Longchen said before, let two people don't worry, he is to chase his wife, there is no danger. As a result, everyone was really not in a hurry, so they came to join Longchen and Zhuke Empire at this time. However, when they entered this area, they heard that Zhuke Empire was at war. They immediately felt bad and quickly killed them. Dongming Jade came, Guoran and others also came. At that moment, Longchen's heart suddenly became warm. No, you're not late. You're just in time. Longchen is a little excited. Longchen has made up his mind to fight to death just now, but when a person faces so many terrible and powerful people, there are two unfathomable existents, Dongfang Zichu and Imputa. Longchen is not sure at all. As soon as the people arrived, Longchen was full of spirit and confidence. However, the strong men of the Rosefinch Empire were shocked. In front of them, they were all in fairyland, but their breath was so fierce that they were frightening. Dongminjiu, who is petite, even Yu Xiaoyun and other three-flower-level people, can't feel her breath. She can see her, but can't feel her, as if she is a ghost. Brother Longchen, I have an agreement with my master that I will take off the head of Imputa. This Imputa will be handed over to me. Dongminjiu looks at Imputa. Longchen was surprised. Okay. Dongminjiu turns to look at Longchen with a beautiful smile on her delicate face. Brother Longchen, don't worry, today I will prove with my strength that Xiaoyu has the ability to protect you. When, all of a sudden, the dagger in Empta's hand stabs at the void and collides with a dagger just emerging in the void. With sparks flying, the figure of Dongminjiu appears in front of Empta. Everyone was surprised. Dongming Yumingming was next to Longchen. How could she appear beside Imputa? When they look at Dongming Jade beside Longchen, her figure slowly disappears. It turns out that what remains beside Longchen is only the remnant shadow. I have already done it. So fast, the strong people on the scene, even those who respect the strong at the third flower level, feel numb. Even if they are face to face, they can't resist such a fast speed. When they react, they are already on the ground. Empta dagger with Dongminjiu, shaking his head, said, You used to be my believer, I have been waiting for your return, you are not my opponent, I don't want to kill you, you go. Cheat people. If you cheat too much, you will cheat yourself. If you weave a lie, you will believe it. You once brought me into the dark. It was Brother Longchen who pulled me back to the light and made me no longer a cold machine. Dongming Jade Light Tunnel. That's because you don't understand the true meaning of killing. You are affectionate and heartless, heartless and affectionate. Killing is the law of survival of the fittest. We are acting on behalf of heaven. Heaven uses our hands to clean up the world. Killing will make people feel awed. With awe, the world will have order. With order, the world can operate normally. Killers are messengers who wander between darkness and light. They clean up some people who are going to be eliminated for God. The law is merciless. When did the way of heaven sympathize with the weak Empta road? Dongminjiu said with a smile, do you still need money to do justice for heaven? Is it for heaven or for money? There are always endless excuses and reasons to collect money under the guise of acting for heaven and cheat in the name of God. No wonder you are called despicable murderer, but no matter how despicable you are, it's useless to lie. I have seen you clearly. The world is about cause and effect. You ruined my childhood and I ruined your old age. This is the real way of heaven. All of a sudden, Dongming Jade disappeared. At the moment when Dongming Jade disappeared, Imputa's face changed greatly. The fat figure suddenly disappeared. At the moment of Empta's disappearance, Dongfang Zichu, not far from him, also moved and flew out like a frightened rabbit. At the moment they fly out, a black spot of the size of a needle appears in the space where Dongming Jade is. As soon as the black spot appeared, it quickly became larger and covered the space of thousands of miles. Empta and Dongfang Zichu flew away for the first time, but some people nearby didn't have time to escape. More than a dozen people reacted slowly and were affected by the black hole. When they were affected, the whole person turned into black dust. In the whole process, there was no sound, no cry or scream. At the moment when the black hole spread, all the people who didn't have time to escape died, and even the Yuanshan couldn't escape. That's... Longchen's heart leaps wildly. It's the vision of Dongming Jade. Longchen has seen it in 3,000 worlds. But at that time, the vision controlled by Dongminjiu was similar to the blessing of dark power, which could only give her power. But now, this vision has formed a substantial law, which is irresistible, and it is a force that dragon dust has never touched. The black hole disappeared as if it had never appeared, but the more than a dozen three-flower-level dignitaries disappeared forever. The strange picture shocked countless people. It was an unknown force that could not be resisted. Boom, all of a sudden, the void explodes, Empta roars, the gods behind him emerge, and the white light of the Tao emerges. He uses all the power of his faith. Hundreds of millions of statues have sprung up behind a huge statue. The scale of the statue is more than 10 times bigger than that of Liao Bensong. It can be seen that the real strength of Imputa is not comparable to that of Liao Bensong. Before Liao Bensong and Imputa fought, Imputa has been in forbearance, let others mistakenly think that the strength of the two people is half the weight, but in fact far away. Boom! Suddenly, the black hole reappeared and collided with the faith boundary of Empta, and the two forces burst out with a roar. Then people saw that in the endless darkness, Dongminjiu, like a ghost, rushed out and killed Imputa. Boom boom. The two figures disappear in an instant. People can only see the collision of black and white, as if the two worlds are fighting. Dragon blood cross-chop. Just when everyone's attention was attracted by Dongminjiu, Guoran stopped drinking, crossed two long knives in front of him, and shot out a 10-word. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4038, Bang, Wanli Cross cut down and pierced the earth. Everyone was shocked by Dongminjia's attack. Before they could react, they were hit by the cross cut. Guoran's timing is very ingenious. At the beginning, the accumulation of power is silent. When it really breaks out, it's too late for those people to want to defend. The earth collapses, the earth waves turn the sky, the huge power makes the whole imperial city tremble, and the strong people in the imperial city are scared. Hundreds of the 3-flower level worshippers were caught off guard. Most of them didn't have time to defend. At the center of the cross, the top 100 were killed, and many of them broke up, leaving only the spirit. Sneak attack, you 1,000 knife killers. A 3-flower level to respect the strong spirit in the roar. Boom! Just after he roared, a seal script flew out and burst around the strong spirit. Ah! The sound of shrill scream rang out. After the seal characters were broken, they turned into gold scraps. The gold scraps spilled on the spirits of those people. The spirits of those people even showed their black smoke. Kill, Goran stops drinking. Armed to his teeth, he flies out first to kill those who respect the strong. Kill, the dragon blood soldiers with a roar summoned the dragon blood battle body, and the sound of the dragon chanted loudly, just like a wild dragon going out to sea. Boom boom. The dragon blood soldiers formed a big formation, facing the 3-flower level to respect the strong, but they did not have the slightest fear. A hand is the most fierce kill. Great archaic thunder beast, please enjoy your. Wang Taibei made a seal with his hands and summoned the archaic thunder beast. As a result, the archaic thunder beast just appeared, and suddenly opened his mouth and spat out a thunder sword. Poof! The thunder sword pierced Wang Taibei's body from behind. Wang Taibei's eyes were as wide as a copper bell. He couldn't believe it and looked back at the archaic thunder beast. The archaic thunder beast suddenly turned into a huge thunder dragon. With a sharp slap of its claw, Wang Taibei's body burst to pieces. It's not an archaic thunder beast at all, but a thunder spirit. It has absorbed archaic thunder beast and controlled all his power. Lei Linger killed Wang Taibei with one blow. With a roar, he rushed directly to other archaic warcraft, because the other Empire strongmen also summoned their archaic spirits. Thunder Dragon, which is transformed by Lei Linger, fights with other archaic warcraft, and the scene is in chaos. The strong people present, regardless of the enemy, were stunned by the picture in front of them and didn't know what happened. Lei Linger is too strong. He has an archaic flavor. It's like the rebirth of an archaic beast. With a wave of the dragon's tail, an archaic beast is directly crushed by it. Lei Linger deals with several ancient fierce beasts by himself, but he kills them so that they fall back one after another. This kind of change directly blinds them. At this time, Long Chen has killed Dongfang Zichu, and his whole Bodis Qi and blood is detonated. Facing Dongfang Zichu, he directly bursts out the strongest force, and the Ming Hong sword tears the sky, and the terrible killing intention locks Dongfang Zichu firmly. Facing Dongfang Zichu, who has hurt Yu Qingxian, Long Chen hates him to the bone. In the face of Long Chen's attack, Dongfang Zica's face suddenly became serious, and a statue appeared behind him. To everyone's surprise, Dongfang Zichu was also a god. Moreover, the scale of his statue and power of belief is no smaller than that of Imputa. The surging power of belief washes the heaven and earth like a tide. No matter how strong you are, it's useless after all. You can only watch your beloved woman die. Dongfang Zica's long sword was slowly raised, and the endless power of faith behind him poured into the sword, bringing up the sky. Your mouth is so annoying. Long Chen roars, and Ming Hong cuts down quickly. Boom! With a bang, Long Chen retreated and was rocked in the air. Zhuge Emperor's strong men in China exclaimed that Dongfang Zichu was too strong, and Long Chen suffered a great loss with one blow. Yu Qingxian is very anxious and calls Long Chen back first. But she knows that no one can change what Long Chen decides. If she shouts Long Chen, she can't stop Long Chen at all, and she will disturb Long Chen's mind. Yu Xiaoyun is also very anxious. Even he has been cheated. He always thinks that Dongfang Zichu is an immortal, but he didn't expect that he has such terrible power of belief. Dongfang Zichu drives Long Chen back with a sword, just about to sneer. To everyone's surprise, Long Chen whirled in the air and killed again. As soon as one knife went, the second one came whistling, and this one carried the power of the last one. Boom! With a loud bang, Long Chen retreated again, and Dongfang Zichu also retreated a few steps to stabilize himself. At that moment, Dongfang Zika's face changed greatly. Then he found that the power of Changhui was injected into the dust of Changdao. Dongfang Zichu didn't wait for Longchen to attack. This time, he took the initiative to attack. He had already seen that Longchen had accumulated the power of the last knife with each knife. If he superimposed it like this, he couldn't imagine the consequences. Boom! When the swords and swords meet, the sound of gold and iron is loud, and the sky is shaking. Longchen and Dongfang Zichu regress at the same time. Dongfang Zika's initiative attack does not affect the superposition of Longchen. Buzz! At this time, Longchen's long knife is flashing wildly. Longchen stands on the void, and the long knife points to the sky. Longchen's scales glowed all over his body, and those lights, like 100 rivers converging on the sea, rushed to Minghong's sword. The long sword roars, the void vibrates, the cracks crisscross the sky, overlap repeatedly, constantly twist and tear. The knife has not cut out, the harsh sound explosion has made the soul tremble. Oppress the law of heaven? How can we have such a powerful force? Yu Xiaoyun and others were stunned. They oppressed the laws of heaven. Only the heaven-level strong have the power. The fourth move of opening the sky, Longchen stops drinking and suddenly cuts down his sword, which has accumulated all his strength. At the moment when the long sword cuts down, it seems that there is a giant holding a long sword on the sky, doing the same action as Longchen. This sword makes thousands of people cry and 9 clouds tremble. At that moment, the calm on Dongfang Zika's face disappeared. He was frightened and roared. Bang! The hundreds of millions of statues behind him burst to pieces. This was not caused by the explosion, but by his own initiative. When hundreds of millions of statues were smashed, the endless power of faith poured into his sword. Dongfang Zichu was also a ruthless man. He made a quick decision to smash the statues in exchange for the strongest power, which was a huge loss for him, but he did not dare to take risks and had to resist the blow of Longchen with the strongest power. Tiandao cuts down the river of stars. In people's astonished eyes, it cuts down on Dongfang Zika's long sword full of faith and desperate. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 4039 Boom! In the harsh sound explosion, thousands of rays, thousands of auspicious colors, golden radiance and white power of faith broke the road. The endless fragments of the road are flying, and the void is full of holes. In the explosion, the whole body of Longchen is cracked and the blood is gushing. But Dongfang Zichu is no better than Longchen. His long sword is cut into pieces by Longchen, and the pieces stab him into a sieve. Dongfang Zichu was also seriously injured. At this time, his hair was scattered, but his eyes were sharp as a knife. Even if you've been hurt, I still can't change your ending. Boom! Dongfang Zichu made a seal with both hands. Suddenly, the door of Yensu on the void suddenly vibrated, and 2 divine lights rushed to Dongfang Zichu. Yen's power, destroy the common people, I see what you take to resist. On the door of Yensu behind Dongfang Zichu, countless runes were circulating. They listened to his call and lent him their strength. Before Dongfang Zichu, the power of white belief was flowing and invincible in the world. Now he is blessed with black flame. Like a demon from hell, he rushes to the dragon dust with endless killing. Longchen was attacked by Dongfang Zichu. On the surface, he was defeated by both, but in fact, it was Dongfang Zichu who suffered a great loss. Longchen's wound is nothing but trauma. After a breath, Longchen's wound has all healed. Now he has the vitality support of Taiyin wood and Fusang wood, and is not afraid of any injury. Even the damage caused by the power of faith can be healed in an instant, and the power of faith of Dongfang Zichu has been exhausted by Longchen. But Dongfang Zichu is very resourceful and has a backhand. He knows how to use the power of Yensu Gate to deal with Longchen. Yen's power? Is it amazing? In the face of absolute power, it's a joke. Longchen hummed coldly. Facing Dongfang Zichu, he didn't have any fear. He put away Minghong's sword and opened his big hand. Several archaic beasts have been killed in a row in the distance, and the thunder dragon, which is killing vigorously, suddenly disappears. When it reappears, it is in Longchen's hands. At the same time, there is a fire dragon in Longchen's hand. A thunder and a fire appear in Longchen's hand. The two dragons hover, the 9 days change color, and a breath of destroying the sky and the earth radiates. What? Dongfang Zichu didn't expect that Longchen had a unique skill, and it was even more terrifying than the previous one. At that moment, his face changed greatly, but he had already rushed to Longchen. He had no chance to retreat at all, so he had to risk his life. Don't keep it. Kill him for me. Double dragons break the sky. In the roar of Longchen, he gives all his soul power to Leilinger and Huelinger. At this time, they are no longer what they used to be, and their strength has risen more than 10 times. It needs the soul power of dragon dust to work together to break the sky. But Longchen doesn't care. He just wants Dongfang Zi to die and kill him at all costs. The flame of flaming emptiness is the strongest flame in 9 days and 10 places. You are the only one who will die. Dongfang Zi's face was ferocious. He roared and concentrated all his strength on his fist, smashing at Longchen. At this time, he has no way back. There is no doubt that he will die, he can only gamble. In people's astonished eyes, the two dragons in Longchen's palm hover out, just like a sharp drill, and bump into Dongfang Zikis Zidianhuo fist. Boom! Thunder and flame interweave, colorful divine light ignites the world. A huge mushroom cloud covers the sky, and the whole world becomes chaos. At that moment, people lost their vision, smell, taste, hearing and feeling. Even the 3 flower-level people felt that their heads were dull. At that moment, it was as if time had stopped, and it was as if thousands of years had passed in an instant. There was chaos in front of us, like falling into eternity. I don't know how long it took for the picture to begin to flow. Then people began to look at the battlefield. The dragon dust is covered with blood and still keeps the attack posture. The Dongfang Zichu in front of the dragon dust has disappeared, and there is still his breath in the blood fog. Suddenly, Longchen moves and rushes in a direction. Along that direction, people see a transparent figure. Yuanshan of Dongfang Zichu. People exclaimed. Dongfang Zika's body was broken by the dragon dust, but the Yuan god remained. But at this time, the Yuan god of Dongfang Zichu was also very weak, and seemed to be able to float away at any time. Longchen, you destroy my body and the foundation of my belief. I swear that you will pay for it. Dongfang Zikis Yuanshin's face was twisted, ferocious as a ghost, and roared. Longchen punches, but unexpectedly, Longchen's fist goes through the Yuanshin of Dongfang Zichu and doesn't hurt him at all. Longchen suddenly looks up at Dongfang Zikis' back. At that moment, his eyes are full of murders and gnash his teeth. Defantion, behind Dongfang Zichu, I don't know when an ethereal shadow appeared. The figure was like smoke and fog, and I couldn't recognize his face at all. But Longchen recognized the man at once, and he was Defantion. At this time, he suddenly understood why Imputa colluded with Dongfang Zichu. It was obvious that they were all under the hands of Defantion. With the power of the Lord's faith, I am immortal. No one can kill me. You think if you can kill Liao Bensong, you can kill me? You have a dream. Liao Bensong is because. At this point, he suddenly stopped and the topic changed. Longchen, I quietly appreciate you Qingchuan's suffering, ha ha. Dongfang Zichu grins his teeth and laughs wildly. The laughter is full of bitterness, which is creepy. Hoo. Longchen's continuous attacks, all through the body of Dongfang Zichu, can't hurt him at all, as if he is just the projection of the world, does not exist. Fool, let me out, I'll kill him. At this time, in the sea of knowledge of Longchen, there came the roar of the heart devil. The heart devil could make a sound. Can Defantion protect you from death? Not necessarily. Just then a cold voice came. It was not very loud, but the roar of the world war could not hide her voice. Every word was clearly introduced into people's ears. Suddenly, a cold light across the void, and heaven and earth were cut out of a fault. which just separated Dongfang Zichu from the figure of De Fan Tian behind him. When Long Chen saw this, he couldn't think about who he was. He turned his fist into a claw, covered the sky with one claw, and grabbed Dongfang Zichu. Boom! With a bang, Void is caught out of a big hole by Long Chen. In people's eyes, the Yuan god of Dongfang Zichu is caught by Long Chen. Dongfang Zichu, your retribution has come. Long Chen's face is ferocious. He has a thunder spike in his hand and stabs Dongfang Zichus Yuanshan fiercely. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.